Greetings and salutations.
Bueller. Bueller. Bueller.
Okay, making sure the microphone's on, guys. Good morning. This is the Morning Mayhem Saturday edition Recovery First show. I think I got that right. I don't know what to call it. I just know that we're here to talk about recovery today and shame and guilt. This is one of my favorite topics when I talk about recovery, when I go places and talk about recovery. I really, in some ways, I do believe that it's almost always has something to do with shame or guilt or self-worth when we slip, when we relapse. It's almost always the reason why I slip and backslide and like all the things, right? So we're going to be talking about that a little bit today. I'm going to bring on JCC today, not Jesus Christ, but James Collins Cares. James Collins Cares is one of the only people I have met in a very long time that's not like a pastor or like a shaman type guy, you know, who presents himself to be an owner of knowledge of the universe, or godly things, or represent some type of dogma. But he walks so peaceful, and he's probably like, oh no, I'm not that peaceful. Because yeah, he has struggles. Him and I have talked about my struggles and things that he struggles with. But I really do think like this is like one of the only people that I've talked to and met out of this community that wakes up thinking like, how can I be a better person and today, and then love as many people as I can, or bring some type of light into the world today. I believe that 1000%. I've never seen anything different from him. But I'm closer to him than I am to almost everyone else in this community. So, I mean, there might be more people out there like that. I hope so. I hope so. I know he gives me something to strive for every day. And I do lack in that area because I don't sleep right. I don't eat right. I don't manage my time correctly. So yeah, we are going to bring him on. I'm going to take care of that here in a millisecond, sending him the link. But yeah, so this should be a great show. I'm super excited. Let's get the show started.
This will always be who I am.
All right, that was the wrong intro, but it'll work. James, I'm sending you the link now. In the chat. So, how is everybody doing today? I'm doing really good, all things considered, right? All things considered. What a weird couple of days this has been. it's just been the most bizarre couple of days I've had in a really, 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 really long time. Um, yeah, and I don't want to. I'm not going to like poison this live with talking too much about it. But I think within the confines of this story, or of what we're talking about today, I think it might kind of mesh in there somewhere. I don't know. We'll see. I don't really plan these things too heavily. I make a quick outline of like what I want to talk about. I know when I go talk at treatment centers about like shame and guilt, I have like my layout of what I'm gonna do, and I sit in my truck and I read it over and over, and I pray. I'm like, please, like, give me the gift of speak right now, because I'm not a great orator. Just ask everyone right in the community. But I'm practicing at it. But anyway, so like I pray for those things, and you know what? Almost always I go in there and I kill it, and I meet some like awesome dudes. Gang members out of prison, people that are just in the hospital, from the streets, or that were in county jail. I always meet the most amazing people. The only thing is that I get really close to these people, and they're still like in the midst of like the down and dirty part of the recovery struggle. And my heart gets broken almost every time, because I try to help somebody, and I bring them into my life and my circle, and they say they want the things, and I've been there. I've been that guy. I'll say I want those things, peace and harmony, and not to be an addict, but I haven't worked on those things that I really need to work on, and those things are almost inevitably shame and guilt. So let me bring on our homeboy. Oh, are we wearing matching shirts today? Bought a bizzle.
Bro, look at us, right?
That's crazy, man. I wore mine because it was on the thumbnail.
I had a blue shirt. I had a blue shirt on, and when I seen your shirt, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go grab my pirate shirt."
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's dope. How's it going, brother?
It's going very good, man. It's a beautiful Saturday. We're all here when we're supposed to be, doing the best we can, right?
Yeah, that's right, man. That's right.
Yeah. What a fantastic topic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love this topic, man. When I'm looking down, it's not because I'm nodding out or anything, which everybody thinks on YouTube. I'm looking at you when I'm looking down. So
right. Or you're reading the side chat, right?
Or I'm reading the side chat. What I really need to do is like maybe lower my camera someday, like to where it's like, like just above like the screen. One of our viewers sent me a link to this thing where you can stick your camera. It's magnetic and it sticks right to your screen. Nice. So like I can put it like in between like the pictures of you and I right there. So it looks like I'm really engaging with with the not only the audience, but like with like guests and stuff that come on.
Right. It can be difficult. Like when I'm doing my Friday Fable videos and this and that, and I'm looking at myself and I'm like, wait a minute, look at the camera. So that it's really trying to engage with people that aren't even, that I'm not there with technically, but I want them that I'm trying to engage with them. Right.
Yeah. Our instinct is to look at them. So yeah. But cool, man. Should we talk about the Virginia thing, or?
I think we should bring a quick light to it, being that you're a news channel and law and crime with everything that's been going on. That there's a lot of talk going on about it.
Yeah, I didn't look it up. But what do you know about it?
Well, I just know that there was the bus crash thing however long ago, not too long ago, and there was the fear of adrenal failure with her kidneys and stuff. There was posts of I only have 4 days to live, etc. And then she had made posts that like she's not going to unalive herself, that if anything happens, please dive deep and look into this. And then I wake up this morning with several messages of look what's happened. And my first thought was in prayers of, always trying to look at the positives of You know, if a mobster is going to narc on everyone, they fake his death, put him in witness protection.
Yeah.
So I'm just praying that that's what's happened to this young woman, that she's in
Yeah.
witness protection, and that we'll never hear about her in a sense again. Just
How do
on
you
the
pronounce
ground.
her last name?
I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
I think, is it Jeffrey? Jeffrey?
Yeah,
I
maybe.
don't,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not always good with names, and I don't have it right in front of me. But yeah, I want to say Victoria Jeffries or something like that,
Yeah. I'll look. I'll look at, is it Victoria or Virginia?
or Virginia. Sorry
Yeah.
to
No, that's all
her.
right.
You
Um,
know, and to the people, like, you want to give this woman all the respect she deserved for speaking out.
yeah. Yep. I'm going to look into it a little bit more. And so I have more information about it because I don't want to
Yeah.
flounder with, I flounder enough on everything else. I don't want to
Hey, you know what? It's all right to flounder on everything else as long as we don't flounder on our sobriety,
perfect segue.
right?
Yeah.
Sobriety is
Perfect
really
segue.
important. And, you know, there's some people very close to me. As you know, a few weeks ago, you gave a shout out to my homie Ryan, who's just
Yes.
over 30 days sober. And then my dear friend Deanne is day 6 today, alcohol free. So it's
Awesome.
perfect timing for this show because,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Yep.
I know, for instance, like with the shame that people feel when they're first getting sober, and they're easily frustrated and easily angered and easily brought to tears because of sadness and all of these
Yes.
things, they start feeling guilty that they're not doing better. And then they start feeling ashamed of their actions of the past. And that can
Mhm.
instantly lead to, you know what, I'm going to have a drink, or I'm
Yeah.
going to use my drug of choice, and fall right back into their addiction.
Right. They see the wreckage of their past, that now it's like through a clear lens, right? They see the wreckage of their past. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Right. And like, I have written down in my short notes for a short video that I want to do. I just haven't found the right day to do it. Is lose yourself. I think a lot of us, when we've been addicts for so long, that's how we recognize ourselves as that, and we're afraid that we're going to lose ourselves when we get sober, when the fact is we never really knew who we were because we were high or drunk all the time. So
Yeah.
we have to take that process and really figure out who we are now and what
Yeah.
we want in life for ourselves and our loved ones and the people around us, because we had given up on ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. And now that we
Yeah.
are trying to not give up on ourselves, we have to find something positive to project
That's right.
into our future to work
Yeah.
for, right?
That's right. That's right. I just real quick, I want to just like define guilt and shame, how I see it.
Beautiful.
I mean, it's how everyone should see it. It's the definition, not like the textbook definition, but like I feel guilt from when I've done something bad, right? Guilt will come up there, and then the shame is I realize I am bad. I think of myself that I'm a bad person. And then when that's not treated, or I don't talk about that with somebody, or pray on it, it just eats away at my self-worth. And be in my past, when I think I'm doing just amazing, right? And I'm gonna like incorporate my story into this today too, a little bit, when I haven't, like when I think I'm doing really good, but I'm lying to people, like I'm getting high and not telling people, like, I mean, I was doing 5 grams of heroin a day, when I was in a relationship with this girl. We were engaged, and I was running 2 tattoo shops in Los Angeles, so like my days were like slammed. I was trying to be cool guy in Hollywood, then I would go to Long Beach and try to be tough guy. And this is all before I became like
An actual tough guy.
Yeah, like yeah, and it was all like pretend and show, and it just when you're not your most authentic self that you can be, and I still think I'm like trying to get there. If you had asked me that a year and a half ago, like in therapy, I had like a huge revelation that like I'm finally my authentic self. But
Right.
now that I'm like transitioning from like and I need to like maybe not include so much external stuff into like who I am as a man, but I kind of do, because like then I was like, tattooing, this is who I am. I'm a Christian. I'm a father. I'm a husband. Um, and that like, where was I with that? Yeah, that
Not being your
oh
authentic
yeah,
self.
I would have said, yeah, like I'm finally my authentic self.
Yeah.
And but now that I'm like not going to be a tattoo artist, right? I'm going to be, well, I'm a tattoo on friends and family, but it's not like my career and like my who I am, because especially with tattooing, there's a lot of lifestyle involved in that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
There
mean?
is. There is. There's
It's
going to the conventions, trying to keep up
yeah,
with the latest new trending tattoos,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
you could easily fall behind, or you could become one of those prissy tattoo artists that's like, look, I only do watercolor and I only do them
yeah,
on
yeah,
Wednesdays, and it's $500 for as long as you can sit, and
yeah,
there's no touch up to, you're not coming back or you're paying,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And you're
yeah. So
trying to
there's a lot.
transition. You're trying to
Yeah,
transition to where tattooing will be like your side hustle,
yeah, yeah.
right?
And so now, yep, it's going to be like, yeah, my side high. I mean, I probably won't even charge people, when I fully like transition. Well, I might, I don't know.
Well, you
Because
got
there'll
to
be mostly
recoup your
just
costs, man.
friends
Like
and
every
family.
time you set up your ink cups, the Vaseline to hold your ink cups
Right.
down, your needle sets, you're $30 in right off the hop. So
Yeah,
you got to
that's right.
cover your expenses at least, bro.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what I mean, right?
I do.
So
Yeah.
um but now like so I'm transitioning to like having this like YouTube um persona, but I don't want it to be a persona. I want it to be like who I truly am.
Right.
And I'm hitting some bumps in the road, right? And I'm starting to feel like a little bit of guilt, because I'm thinking that's why I define that. Like the guilt is I did something bad, and the shame is I am bad. And I don't necessarily think that I've done the right thing like these past like maybe 6 months. Well, let's just say since I met Brett Miller, reconnected with him, and I'm not blaming Brett at all,
No,
not even a
no,
little
no.
bit. I'm like,
Situationally, you feel you made some bad decisions,
yeah,
and
yep,
now you're
yep,
feeling the shame and guilt as if
yeah,
it's something you should have known. Like, oh, I should have known better. I
right,
shouldn't have
right,
fallen into this trap. And
yeah, and it goes the same now with Reese, and I'm not gonna respond to like we'll just like talk about this briefly. I'm not gonna respond to her video that she made last night like in a negative way, or even or like continue the tit for tat, when really there wasn't. Like it was mostly like, a lot of I'm still going to call it truth seeking, like just letting everyone know about her and Brett and whoever else. I know there's more people that they've talked about. But I have gotten like, I have chosen to participate in that on my channel, because I was there when that recording was released, right?
yep,
And um, and I was there at her request. And here's the deal. Um, like she said last night that like I like begged to have that recording, and that me and Knife Hoarder have known each other for years, or whatever she said, and which is all just not true. And she even said like that day, and I'm not going to sidetrack too far, I promise, guys, but she even said that day when she released it, like no one would help her, no one would like like stand by her and like supporting that. Just she asked Alan and she asked, you know, someone else. And then she asked me when I called her about the Jester video, like, what are we going to do? Are we going to finish it? And then that's when she told me about Brett saying all those nasty things about me. And then she never mentioned the things that she said about me until she thought that Brett had sent me screenshots, which he did, but I had blocked him. So I never seen them. Right. And so then she wanted to let me hear this recording. And I was like, I don't know. I like, what is it? And she's like, well, you'll have to hear it. And I'm like, okay, send it to me. And that's how that went down. There was no like, oh, I have to have this, you know, whatever she said, like he just begged me for it. And this was his whole plan, you know, to like, now I'm the long con and I'm not accountable. And, you know, you know, I'm like this whiny little weirdo on YouTube, you know, begging for money because I mentioned, you know what, hey guys, I'm going to turn the super chats back on because I didn't make as much as I wanted to, or that I needed to, which I'm just stating why I'm turning it back on. I could have just turned it back on, but then I just felt like that's disingenuous because I had said why I was turning them off.
Yeah. Well, you've been being transparent, like you said,
Exactly,
2025 year.
Exactly. But
transparency and accountability.
Right. Exactly. And so I just think there was so much that she had, like, I didn't really believe that she was a liar until really now. And I was just like, wow, this is so crazy. So now I really don't even know if what she said about Tommy, you know, saying those things about me. The only screenshots I've ever seen were of hers, of what she had said, and they were nasty things. And they were the nasty things that she's saying about me now, right? They're the same exact things.
Right.
So it's not like now she's figured out that this is the person who I am. She was saying it when we were doing shows together and behind the scenes, but then smiling on my face. So now I truly do know that she is a very bad person. And I think it is the Scientology thing. I don't know. But like,
or the victim thing, a person who's a victim learns certain behaviors.
Yep. And someone had pointed out to me that it's this thing in Scientology called bull baiting. And I'm going to get back on topic. This is part of what I'm saying today. It's called bull baiting or something like that. Where they say the same thing over and over, like tearing someone down, or I don't know. I could be misspeaking on it, but anyways, now I truly know. And so now I'm like questioning everything I've done in this situation. Right. And now I feel like I've done something really bad.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow. And it's not what she would think I've done something bad, like by playing the rest of the tape, accidentally doxing, or it's not even doxing, accidentally not taking those, the names out. I think people are using that word doxing a little too,
incorrectly. They're not
incorrectly
using it for
the
what
least.
the word actually means.
Yeah. Yep. And so anyways, but I don't want to get into that part because behind the scenes that's getting taken care of. But now in this transition where I'm already worried about like who I am as a person and what I'm going to be doing. Now I really do think, just like with tattooing, I'm incorporating my authentic self into my new profession or whatever. You know, I don't want to call it profession because I don't feel professional at it yet.
Right.
And so now with these poor decisions I made, like standing by her in that situation, when I think she manipulated the whole thing, and to me helping her, you know, being backstage, I really need you backstage while I do this. So I have your support. I'm like, okay. Which all that drove my wife nuts. Right. Yeah. And I'm just like in wow over it. Like if you were to watch her thing, and I don't know if I encourage people to do it or not encourage, it doesn't matter. I'm just like, I really effed up, and it's not like I effed up by playing that tape or being a part of of the negative stuff, which is all ending, you know. I said yesterday, but I'm really just like I'm just like looking at my part in this.
Yeah.
And I'm saying why now.
Right, because with what's gone on, you're feeling shame and guilty, and those things, the situation that has caused the shame and guilt isn't as important as you're feeling shame and guilt, which
Exactly.
puts you at risk potentially of losing your sobriety. Is what I'm hearing.
Exactly. Last night when I came home from tattooing all night, because I do have a job, you know, all that. I really don't think she like. I really don't think she's really watched anything. Well, she's had to watch something, but like all those things that like they're just so not real in reality. But anyway, so I do have a job and I work that job. I came home late and I'd watched that after I tattooed all day or all evening, and I was just blown away. So I came home and I prayed about it. And what's crazy, my first instinct wasn't to just like come out and be like, you fucking lying bitch, you know, you better be afraid. Oh, and like the hammer thing, that's a friend of mine that lives in Arizona. I had mentioned because she was so worried that Tommy was coming there to get her. I was like, look, my friend Hammer lives in Tucson. I'll have him just kind of, you know, watch, you know, Brett for a little bit to see if he leaves. And that was it. I never said that I'm sending Hammer to you or had an argument with her.
No.
The one thing she did say was true is that we did tell her, like, if you feel uncomfortable, you and Hux can come stay with us in Montana if that's what you want to do. That's the only thing that she had correct in that whole story. And so anyway, so I prayed about it and I said, you know what, I had planned on doing this show anyway, and I'm praying because I feel so guilty for even have helped her ever, that I'm going to incorporate it in the show. Instead of doing a response, I'll just like kind of incorporate it into the show. And now that's it. That's all it's going to be a part of this show. Cause I didn't even want it to be a part of that, but I am feeling really,
well, I'm going to try to
shameful.
alleviate some of that guilt, brother, is we always say it's better to believe a person who potentially is a victim and find out they're not than to just, right? So you were trying to help a human being that you believe to be a true victim. And I'm not saying that Reese isn't a victim. She obviously had a lot of trauma and chaos in her life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
it's so obvious. Yeah.
In this case where you were being used and they're playing the victim, it's a case of Darvo. It's diverting and reversing the order of victim and offender. Right.
Yeah.
And now you're feeling guilty, and that's dangerous. The guilt and shame is dangerous, man. Like for people that are, especially people that are like, thankfully have years of sobriety under your belt, bro. And you've got a strong support group, because if you didn't, who knows where you could be right now.
Yeah, dude.
Right. And we're trying to end the stigma of the world, right? We're trying to end the stigma of people with addiction. So if we actively guilt somebody or make them be ashamed of using, then we are potentially putting them at risk of losing their sobriety, guys. That's where we're trying to learn about understanding, kindness, compassion, caring, love, because it's a disease.
And it's the guilt and shame is definitely, it can become a cycle. And I think what I'm trying to do is to take the steps to alleviate some of that guilt and shame about this entire situation. And that's by just owning up to it. And that's what I'm doing. Like I did, I did help her, and I, against, advice from other people. But I was just feeling so lost in the whole situation. And I want to ask my community, because, and even just for playing, the tape again, I want to ask this community for forgiveness, because, I really made a bad mistake, and I just, yeah, it's like in my intro, I put, because of my experience, I feel like I can hold this community down, um, and protect it, and we can all like be here and have fun. We can laugh, we can cry, we can be here for each other. Um, and that's what I wanted to be, but I let this virus, this whatever cancer seep its way into this community, because I've inherited the community from that virus. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yep.
And I keep letting it in these little ways, and I'm so sorry for that. I'm not sorry for the reasons that they would want me to be sorry for. It's because of what I've brought into here, where I let it sustain in here, like even just residing here. And I just I'm gonna call my sponsor today. I don't feel like I'm in relapse mode.
No.
I just
Good.
need my perceptions checked, because if I was to listen to everyone, and even the people in our community, who support me, I can it makes me feel better. But like, when I get that praise, then I feel even more guilty, because they have me up here and I'm feeling down here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that can be with anything in life. People are telling you like, "Oh man, you're killing it." Even Miss Scorpio Ryden said, "I'm so talented," and thank you for that. I really appreciate that, and I do believe I am talented. I always have felt I am talented, but I've never been a mean like spirited, or like I've never let that like drive my ego ever. So many tattoo artists out there have always told me like, "Man, you were like, we would love to have you in our shop to like come correct all this massive ego." And this is before I found God, it was before I was an addict, became an
Right.
addict. They would just be like, "Dude, we need you here," Um, and I'm like, yeah, anyway, but yeah, and I appreciate that, but you get what I mean. So when I'm feeling down here, that's why I need to own it with the community, so I can find that middle, and they can realize like, okay, no, this dude can make mistakes, and bring
Right.
their expectation level of me a little bit down, and I can bring my expectations of myself a little bit up, and we can just move forward.
Most
Does that make
definitely. Most
sense?
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, for the people that don't know, like your YouTube experience was uploading court videos with voiceovers, and you jumped in both feet into an icy cold river of live streaming, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And then you're trying to figure all that out, and
Yep.
you're trying to figure out how to pin comments, and like there's so much to learning about live streaming that you're trying to do at the same time as trying to maintain
Mhm.
your regular life that helps afford you to be able to take a few hours to try and get this live thing going.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going to make mistakes, and thankfully you're honest about that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like for anyone who thinks that Sam should just come on here and be perfect, or that I should just come on here and be perfect, or the other channels that I go on, guys, trust me, I am not perfect. The other
Yeah.
day I had a huge breakdown and I was very close, and I still feel like using the last few days.
Yeah. I
But I
know.
had people in my
Yeah.
corner to be like, bro, come on, you've got this. You always so positive. And they've even had them say, like, you should put up one of these videos when you're down, because that way people
Mhm.
will see that you're not always
Yeah.
upbeat. And I
Yeah.
was like, I get that, guys, but you know what? I
Yeah.
try not to do those, because we all have those down moments, right?
Yeah.
We've all had the dog chew our couch. We've all had the coffee get spilled on us. We've all been late for work because of a traffic accident, or cops doing a roadside testing and all these things. But I choose to not focus on those things in my videos,
Mhm.
right? Or whatnot. But trust me, I'm not perfect. I mess up a lot, and I have
Yeah.
really down days as well. where
Yeah.
I need people like Sam in my corner, and my sister from Synchronized Souls podcast, Zoe, has really been there for me and helped me.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
without it, I would have failed. And then I would be
Yeah.
full of shame and guilt that I'm letting down my community, and
Mhm.
that I am a bad person, because if I used, I'd be hiding it, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what we know how to do. And when we're using, we're not good people, right? We will tell lies, and that's not good.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. And I want to say this too, is that like I know that it's not the mistakes that will kill my recovery. Because we make mistakes, all the time in our daily life. That's not what kills like the recovery. It's when we don't speak those mistakes out loud. It's if we don't own up to what we have done and I don't know if asking for forgiveness, but just like owning up to like, look, I've made this mistake. We all walk. And I said it really good in an email I sent to someone who apologized to me. And I said, you never have to apologize to me, because we are friends, and we walk in faith, and we walk in forgiveness, because, and I'm not even talking about you don't have to be a Christian to walk like that. I just, like just faith that there is something higher than us down here. Man, I see so many things in this world that I just know that we have been created, and not, are accidental, but that we are the creature, and that there is a higher power above that is our creator.
right.
So
Yeah, Lord, we are actually the witness of our thoughts and actions. No, we are not
yeah,
actually our thoughts and actions, but the witness of it, right?
yeah, that's right. Yep.
And I just want to jump right back to the shame and guilt thing. For people that aren't addicts, that don't understand that level of shame or guilt, think of when you lied to a loved one and how
Mhm.
guilty you felt and how much shame you felt. But then when you go and actually tell them the truth, and like we've all seen it in movies where somebody goes and finally tells the truth, something they've been lying about, and they're like, oh, I feel so much better now. The weight is
Yeah.
off my
Oh yeah.
shoulders.
Yeah.
Right?
I used to get that feeling when I tell my PO, when I would admit to something I've done. I walk out of that office just like, yes,
Yeah,
it feels so good.
it
Yep.
does. It does. It's freeing. It's
Mhm.
freeing to take that route of honesty, because
Yes.
um, if you lie about something, everything you say to me now comes into question on whether it's true,
Right. That's right. That's right.
right?
Yep. And when we
So,
keep secrets, and when we keep those secrets, like we're saying, are not being honest about something, that shame um will it'll grow into shame. Though, like that dishonesty will grow into shame.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then you, like, I know when someone's not believing me, when I was in my addiction, and because they can see that shame and guilt on your face, at least mine,
yeah,
because like because I have like these like droopy eyes, and like they're like sad. My daughter always says, you look sad, Dad.
yeah. You're sad
Um,
facing. Some people have resting bitch face. Sam is resting sad face. It's like,
yeah,
man, Sam, what's going on today, man? And you're like, man, having a fantastic day. Why do you look
yeah.
so down, bro?
But don't you know? Have you noticed when you're not living in shame and guilt, like people will notice that. They will like I've had grown men like ranchers who I always think are judging me because of my tattoos, and they know I'm not from Montana. They'll tell me, like, if I meet them, and they'll tell me like, man, you just seem like really peaceful and like happy, and you don't come off the way you look. Especially when I was bicking my head and I looked like a crazy skinhead. But I would be me, and they just be like, whoa, what the hell? And that's why I knew I had to grow my hair out,
Right.
because I just knew I had to. And you pull it off really nicely. You know what I mean? But when I shave my head, I just look mean and evil. So I always have to make sure there's a smile on my face,
Right.
so
See,
people don't like
I look
grab their
mean and
kid.
evil with long hair. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden I take over that Viking persona, and I get that kind of grumpy carry around, I'm not a nice person vibe. And I did that
Nice
for a
dude.
long time
Yeah.
to keep people away from me. You know,
Yeah.
I wanted people to be afraid of me so that they would just stay back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And I also notice when I'm living in shame and guilt, that, like, say if I'm like really like feeling it and I'm at church, or I don't even want to say church. Let's just say like at the grocery store. Um, people can feel that. And I notice that when men are with their families and their kids, when they see me coming, they always look for where their kids are at.
Right.
Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, and so they can
Yeah.
like just pull them closer. I do it with my daughter,
Yep.
because they can feel that. And then but when I'm not living in that, it's just awesome, man. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
But
mistakes don't kill recovery. Hiding in shame does. And that I just wanted to make sure that I remembered to say that. And secrets grow shame, and honesty shrinks it. Those are my scribbles that I needed to
nice.
make sure I didn't forget to talk about. And
Yeah,
it
I'd
really
like to
does.
throw in that a change in behavior is the best apology. That the words
Oh
"I
man,
am
that's
sorry,"
beautiful.
the words
Yeah,
"I am sorry" are not an apology; they are an escape words. Well, I
yeah,
said I'm sorry. Why can't you let it go? An apology is when you take the time to consider how your actions or lack of actions and words have hurt others, not just the people you care about, but everyone. And you take
yeah,
accountability for them and you say, I apologize because I realize that this action and these words have hurt you. And it was not my intention, even though it was my intention to hurt you because I was angry. Uh,
yeah.
just because I'm angry, it doesn't give me the right to punish you. And
Right.
I
That's
did
right.
that. And I would hope that you could apologize. And I'm going to work very hard to never do that again and regain your trust.
That's right.
Because
Eh,
when we lie to people and we cheat from people and we steal from people, we are losing their trust. We are losing their ability to be able to believe us. And it's not going to be easy for us to regain that trust. Just being honest for a month or two isn't going to forgive 5 years of lies.
That's right. That's right. And we have to understand also that if when we want that forgiveness from people, we got to understand that it's not always going to come right away. And that's why I believe what you just said is beautiful, is that we have to live forward. And I can't remember how you said it. How did you
The
say
best
that?
apology is a change in the behavior.
Yeah. And so then changing our behavior afterwards. And then if they're not willing to forgive us right away, when we do change that behavior, it does come and it does happen.
Right. And we may never regain their trust. Even when they forgive us, we may never regain their trust and they might always second guess everything we have to say. And you know what? We have to forgive them for that because that's what we deserve. If we have
Yeah.
fucked up that badly, sorry, YouTube, for the swear words, but we're well into the show. They
Oh
probably
yeah, we're
won't
well into the show.
modify it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, we
Got to
have to own
monetize
that.
it.
We have to own that. We lied, we stole,
Mhm,
we cheated, we did drugs, we missed the graduation, we missed the
mhm.
birthday parties, we missed the anniversaries with our partners, we forgot their birthdays, we messed up.
Yeah.
And you know what? It might take 20 years before they fully retrust us, or they may never retrust us fully again. And we have to
Yeah.
own that and
Yeah.
not punish them for their actions towards us because we deserved it, and we still probably may.
Yeah. Yeah. But not let that rejection of them not forgiving us like eat away at us. Look,
Use
we've
it as
owned it.
motivation.
We're not hiding anything, so that that dishonesty will start to shrink. Well,
Yeah.
and hopefully we'll just go. This is what I wrote in that email. I had to look up that email because I really wanted to share it with everyone. I said, "Hey, you never need to be sorry with me. When you're truly my friend, grace flows naturally. And even if there had been a transgression, which there wasn't, in this situation. Real friendship walks in forgiveness, just like God does with us.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I
Beautiful.
thought I
just
lost
calmed
you.
down so I can smoke a cigarette, bro.
I don't care if you smoke on the thing. Or does YouTube freak out?
I think YouTube ain't so kindly towards people smoking and stuff. So anytime I smoke cigarettes, I calm down.
I'm gonna make you a badass avatar, so when you do smoke, it'll have a really cool picture of you.
Awesome, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that today for you.
That'd
Yeah,
be
because
cool.
they're cool. Yeah, they're really cool. Like this is the one I've been using ever since I started. That one.
Yeah, man, that's so
It's when my
wicked.
hair was longer. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that picture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the humbleness that you put on the face, I like. It's like
yeah.
it's like you're in deep thought in a sense, like not meditating, but almost meditating, just kind of
And
taking a moment to
and I do, and I
reground
really look
and
happy in that
recenter.
picture. Yeah,
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 beautiful. We could take
yeah.
this moment right now for anyone that is on day one. We want to say, man, way to go. You can do this. We believe in you.
Yep.
Just fantastic. I
Yep.
just wanted to say
And we
that.
are good examples of that. That you can get clean and sober, like, and you can build a cliff that's so high that you won't be willing to jump off of. And I just, man,
Yeah.
when I realized that, I mean, I was just like, man, it's just that added little extra, not accountability, but that extra like support of like a family that you have built, or a position in a company, or or whatever. It doesn't even have to be anything that like grandiose. It can be that you got the job that's finally you're able to pay your bills, and by using, you'll lose that. You'll lose everything
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
$20 bag of whatever, clear, dark, liquid alcohol.
Any of
I'm
those
just not
things.
willing to take
Gambling.
that chance
It can be
anymore.
gambling. There's a lot like I've had friends that had admitted that they were gambling addicts and why they can't go to casinos because they were addicted, and some of them had made really good money and figured out this roulette pattern, and they'd win 30-40 grand in a night, but then the next night they'd lose 50 grand.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't fathom that as a person who lives on like $16,000 a year. You're losing twice what I make in a year in a night on a roulette table, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And everything they lost, right? They lost their wife, they lost their good job, they lost their home, all because of their gambling addiction.
Yeah.
There's so many types of addicts out there that it cannot be just drugs and alcohol, or what we consider drugs and alcohol, that ruin families and ruin lives.
Yeah. I wanted. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's I was just gonna
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about too, like, it's not always the big things, that take us out. It's and I've talked about this before. It's those little compromises we make, the little tiny dishonesties that we do, the way we hurt people, even when we don't mean to, and then try to pretend it didn't happen. And I think we already like touched on that. But I always tell that story when I'm doing my testimony or when I'm talking with other people in recovery, is that like I have to have as much integrity as possible even when no one's looking, even when I'm sending that text and I'm telling a little lie. I have to check myself on that, because those little lies in the text grow into bigger lies, and to all the things, right? And that into shame from the guilt, and you, because people are like, well, it's just a little white lie. I don't feel guilty over that. And at first glance, you don't, right? But when you're not, if you don't have integrity, and I just know that this is what I've done. It's like, if I don't have car insurance when I'm driving, if I don't have a valid license, it's all those little things that if you're not living a life with integrity, it will. And I'm not saying, like, I drove without a license my first year and a half in recovery. I'm not saying like that has to happen right away, but as you build your cliff, all you have to do all those things. And I want to say budget your life, but my wife's watching, I think, right now, and I never do that. So, but it's things like that, budgeting and like living like a regular citizen, but you're as your most authentic person.
Right. And I think that like people like ourselves, Sam, we're trying every day to better ourselves. Like even when we wake up and we're having a fantastic day, we're thinking, how can we make ourselves a better person today? And from a humble place, not from an ego place. We're not like, oh, I'm so much better than these people. And today I'm going to be even more better than them because I'm working so much harder on bettering myself and being nicer. And I think, you know, that as long as we keep trying to be a better person today, that we're going to evolve as a human being. And then we don't become stagnant. And we know stagnant
Yeah.
water cannot breathe life.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to say too, like you've watched several of my videos, and last night I had an epiphany about how I end my videos. I used to say, remember when somebody says nobody cares, James Collins cares. Thanks for watching, and I love
Yeah.
you. Well, a
Yeah.
lot of content creators say I love you. And, you know, I believe my audience knows I love them. But what they might not know is I believe in them. So I changed my outro last night when I did my Friday Fables. And I said, remember,
Yeah.
when somebody says nobody cares, remember, James Collins cares.
I love it
Thanks
when
for
you say that.
watching. And I believe in you.
Oh, that's badass, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
I think that's
Yep.
really going to make a difference to the people in my community and the community here as well, because
No, I love that. Yep. Because
Yeah.
you're right. The word love, we could do a whole show on the word love and what it means and how we use it. And yeah, you have to be really careful. I naturally do say that, and it's gotten me in trouble with my wife, you know, with clients and things like and friends and
Yeah.
you know, it has, well, especially with just one particular person, but so yeah, we have to be careful. And I think she knows now that I just, you know, use it with people as I get to know them.
Yep.
But really what I'm saying when I say I love you, it is like, I love you and I believe in you. Let's do this damn thing. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
let's create this friendship and
Yeah, I
and
can.
support each
I'm
other.
a polyamorous human being. I believe in being
Uh-huh.
able to love many people on different levels. And when I say to a woman, "I
Yeah.
love you," it doesn't mean I want to be sexually intimate with them all.
Right.
Right?
That's right. That's right.
There's
Eh,
different levels of love.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, exactly. Because, you know, God, the higher power of the universe, that is love. What else could it be? Right? Because
Yep.
that's when we feel, that's when we are loved and we give love, that's when we feel the most complete as a person, as a human being. And so how could God be anything other but love?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. The God,
yeah.
the creator and
I
source
used
of
to not
all love.
understand that. I used to not understand that. Like, you know, God is love. Well, okay, I get it. God loves us. I get that. But really, no, God is love, man. If it's if he's anything else, he wouldn't be God.
Right.
Or,
Like
you
you
know,
would have to be a being of love in order to create things as beautiful as they are.
yeah,
Like
that's
you
right.
live in Montana. I used to watch this show back when I had TV called Mountain Men. And there was this
Yeah.
old dude from Montana who would go and his dogs were trained to find antler sheds so that he could make knife handles with rock and obsidian that he would chip away. And
Oh, dope.
he would
That's dope.
he would trap these, you know, he's an animal trapper, and like a cougar got into his chicken coop one year, and like you live in, they would say, God's country.
Yeah.
You know, and we say that
Yeah.
about where I live. We're surrounded by so many thousands of lakes and rivers and forests. We all say, like, this is God's country. This is the valley, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Angie Wilson says she loved that show.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, there was one other thing I wanted to say. I'm not saying we're done. I'm just I just wanted to
Get your
which one?
notes, get through out all your pinpoints that
Yeah.
jotted down.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had like this outline that I wanted to do. And we've already pretty much did it without you even using my notes. Doing the media action of own the mistakes because secrets grow and honesty shrinks it. Making real amends, and then the spiritual connection after that, and then the community. How important it is to talk to the community about the situation, and not like a retaliatory manner, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just not even talking about them and like saying what they were doing, was just, owning what my part is in everything. And yeah, I was really bummed out last night, man. I was so regretful um to even participate in any of it. But at the time I really felt like I was supporting, that person. And
Yeah, I'd rather, like I say,
but I was
I would
hesitant.
rather support a lying person that says they're a victim and
What's
find
that?
out. Like I said, I'd rather support a person that says they're a victim and find out later they're not, than not support that person and find out they are a victim.
Yeah. Yeah, look, bro, like when she was like saying like all the things that she was like a victim of, she telling, she told the whole story on her thing before,
Yeah.
about like all the abuse and things, and we were worried about how violent he would be. That's when I did like an entire history check on the Pacer, all his federal charges, to see if
Yep.
there was any violence in there. And that's what I did. I looked up all the things, and I sent her things from that to show that he's never been really violent. I just did the federal stuff. I didn't do the state stuff about, like the SA things. And
Right.
but did I even know about that at that point? I don't know. I didn't know how violent that was, because any kind of the way that happened is pretty violent. But to ease her mind, that was it. Like, like, don't be scared, protect yourself, get, rounds for your thing, and, make sure you tell the police. And
Yeah.
it was never anything but that. And, when I did that, I found out all kinds of more things. But anyway, that's not what this show's about. And I apologize for letting it digress into that. But, this is
That's
me
all
doing
right.
the show, and I'm
That's all
Mr.
right. I
Digression.
believe people will forgive you. You were
They
affected.
won't. No, it's kidding.
You were affected. You were affected by this, and you had actions and partook of it, and it's causing you to second guess yourself now,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that's completely natural, Sam, that you'd be second guessing yourself after going through a situation like you has gone on over the last several weeks,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
if you weren't affected by it, then I'd be second guessing, is Sam or is Sam a character?
No,
Like,
that's right. Yeah. I didn't even think
know,
about it like that. Yeah.
like I said,
If I,
you're Sam Yarbrough. That's who you are. I'm James
Mhm.
Collins. That's who I am. If people want to deep dive and find out whatever information you can, do it, because I
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
I've done. I'm a convicted felon for growing cannabis without a license with the intent to traffic. I have never had any violent crimes in my past. I'm not a violent human being, even though I've had to be violent because of where I lived and things that,
Yep.
we have to be a product of our environment or we become eaten in those environments.
Yep. That's right. That's right.
You
That's a
know?
good way. I'd never put it like that, but that's exactly what would happen if
Yeah,
you
like you
don't.
weren't a violent man before you went to prison and you became a violent man in prison. Your story isn't unique. How many men did you meet in the prison system that were not violent before they went to prison,
Almost everyone.
right?
I mean, it was a higher percentage of those guys than there were of like the truly violent, evil guys, right?
Yeah, there's guys went into prison because they had some cannabis and never came out because they murdered somebody inside because
Yep.
the people that they were riding in their car because they had no choice because they didn't understand that you
Bro.
can politic or you can't. You can be
Bro,
like, look, I'm
yeah.
involved in gangs. I'm just a regular human being. I want to do my time. And they'd be like, well, you eat over there.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. From my understanding, like I say, I lucked out, good
Oh.
lawyer, house arrest,
Yeah. There was a time when I was attacked in a shower, right? And I had to stab that person. And when they took him out of there, and when I came after it happened, I came out fully naked, went into the pod and told the pod, like, come get this mother effer out of my shower. And there was like blood everywhere. And I went to my cell and I fought crying because I was like,
what if I killed this man?
What if he dies? What have I become in here? Right. And that was the eye opener. And like, I don't know if it was 5 or 6 months later, that's when I told my car, my community in there, my group, that that I was going to start practicing Buddhism, and they all pretty much laughed. And I was like, man, I can't
do
live
this
like
anymore.
this. Yeah. And they let me do it for a while. But I was always talking about love, and these are kids,
Yeah.
I was always talking about love, and they were just like, bro,
we're gonna beat your ass.
Miss me with that, man. And it was all bad. But
no, exactly. But that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
And then these people get out of prison full of shame and guilt by their actions that they did inside. Which,
that's right.
In a sense, did they really have a choice? Like, okay, so they could say, you know what, you got a choice. You go stab this guy, you put in work. But if you don't go stab that guy, you're the one who's going to get stabbed.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
I said that the other day. Yep. I said that the other day, and like, you had to have walked in my shoes, because someone had said, like, it was when I left the yard, like, basically, put myself into a protective custody situation, because it was either I kill someone or I get killed. Right. And it was on a prison podcast, and it was, these guys were like all acting tough, like a lot of those prison shows do.
Yeah.
Not all of them. There's a lot of really good ones, but like this one, they're just like, oh man, you did that. I would never do that. I always stood on this and that, or I would just crash out and attack a cop or something. But like, I knew if I did it that way, then I'm just like, look, I just like brought someone else into all my bullshit and drama.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just, handed them my shank, and because it was a shank, they had to lock me up.
Yeah.
But I used to be really embarrassed to say that. There was, you know what I mean? Because I didn't want to be a check-in, because I've beat up so many people that have checked in and done, poorly things, made these decisions because, you're a piece of shit. You ain't a man. But now I truly believe I did the man thing by doing that. And, a lot of people will say different, and it's hard to not listen to them because I was that guy. Right.
Yep. It's true. Well, I think we
we
learned that at some point,
believe in that little guy.
Yeah. The little Jesus is, man. And they remind me of the Buddy Christ from Jane Silent Bob.
Yeah. I wish I could hold him up. What's funny is that, I'm just going to call her the R word. The R word has one of these. And she showed it on one of her lives, but his arms are raised up like that.
Yeah.
And it was the same little guy, but his arms were up. And I was like, I want the little arms up guy. Jesus. I wanted to be going like, not like, ooh. Mine's bringing down the house. I want the raising the roof.
Yeah. Just everything all right, man.
That's how I'm gonna look at it.
Yeah,
that's so funny, dude.
Forget what I was thinking there a second ago about the people that were being violent in prison when they get out. But
yeah. No, that's a perfect topic, because look, when I got out, I was still living in that shame and guilt, and I left a heroin addict. You know what I mean? Because I was self-medicating that shame and guilt. And that's exactly what we're talking about. And I got to the halfway house in Hollywood. I was like, I had to bring a bunch with me because I didn't know where I would get it when I got there. So I had to put that in the safe and leave. And people know what I'm talking about when I put it in the safe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to, I'm bringing more attention to it than I wanted to, but yeah, I got there.
I'll help. In Canada, they call it a prison wallet.
Yeah. The prison wallet. Yeah.
Suitcase, you know.
Dude, no, I don't want to lose this. I was going to digress into a cool story, but yeah, so I left there and I had a habit, and until I dealt with that, and look, I had a PO that enabled me, because my
Right.
PO was just like, well, you're doing good. I'm not going to lock you up, because he seen me doing good. I had a nice place. I had, my first tattoo shop that I opened on my own when I got out. It was like 8 months down the road. But he's like, man, you're doing really good and you seem good. And I was my intake was increasing more and more and more every day.
Yep.
But that was
A
because the
functioning
shame
habit.
go. And that's when I went to the Phoenix House Treatment Center in Venice Beach. And that was the first thing we started working on and I remember I went into my therapist's office in the treatment thing, and, to do a one-on-one, and I came bopping in, and I'm just like, cause heroin gives me energy. I'm one of those guys, you know what I mean? I'll clean everything on heroin, and I'd be like, I was just like bopping around, and my therapist was like, here, plant your hands flat, plant your feet flat, and you're going to take these deep breaths with me. Right. I'm like, okay, cool. And I was taking the deep breaths, blowing it out, taking the deep breaths, pull it out. And let me back up. I wasn't using at this point, because I'm in treatment, right? Breathe in, breathe out. And then when I took like when I let out like the fourth deep breath, I like looked at her, and my whole face just filled up with tears, and I just started crying. And I'm like, why am I crying? Why am I crying? And she was like, because you've released that wall, you're not high. And it just, now you're able to do the work. And it was like the coolest thing. And I've tried to do it again. I've tried to recreate that moment where I just take the deep breaths and really feel what's going on with me inside.
Yeah.
But it's never worked again, but it worked that time, and she knew it. But I was newly sober, and it really all needed to come out.
Just overwhelmed with a beautiful emotion, right? That
I'll never forget it, man. I'll never forget it.
I think sometimes too, even though we try to live in a place without that ego or that toxic masculinity of I'm tough, I don't cry. Like 5-6 days ago when I was talking with Zoe, and I was choking on the words that I'm at risk of losing my sobriety. And I did. I broke down and I just cried with her. And the pit that was in my stomach, like 3/4 of it went away. There's still a bit of a pit in there that's still bothering me, but I know that when the time is right, that ball of emotion is going to come to the surface, and I can cry it out and become a stronger version of myself.
That's right.
It's like when you spoke about when you first had really found God, and you were, in solitary on your knees crying and looking up at the roof of the solitary cell saying like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but please, help me. And you broke down and cried in your complete, like, you don't got clothes when you're in that solitary environment. So you're at your like raw inner child, afraid, scared, overrun with emotion. And that's when God was finally able to reach through to you and put his hand on your shoulder and say, it's okay, son. We're going to walk this road together. You can get there.
Yep. That's exactly how it happened, man. And I was still feeling the pain from the fight, like the pain in my face from the fight. And it was nuts, man. It was a crazy, like I didn't get saved right at that moment, but I did feel God's presence, and I, from that moment, I started walking a different life.
That's when the seed of God got planted in you, which then just needed proper nourishment and proper water and the right amount of light so that the plant could grow inside you.
Yep. And what's crazy is that without any effort of my own, God took care of that, right? My higher power took care of that. he like inserted all the right people to give me the information I needed. He helped me be honest about like the things I was felt guilty and shame for. And like it was like this beautiful road, and I love it when I do tell my entire testimony. I talk about like it's just like it was like this beautiful road of all these like new people and places and things, and he was just making everything. He gave me the path. He took me on that path that he wanted for me. And I just say he because that's well,
Lack of better
I
term.
think yeah, but and it was all just beautiful. And now when I can reflect back on it, I can notice it and see it. And I've seen the signs where what he didn't want me to do. But the only thing I do struggle with, and Reese was right about this a tiny bit, that, and I've always admitted it, and that's how she knows about it, because she is that not because of the history with me, is that I am a people pleaser, right? And those things, and I can want to befriend people that aren't always the best for me, but I want to help them, you know. I go into a situation that I want to help this guy that's dealing, you know, a pound of drugs, you know, every 2 days. And I want to have him hang out, you know, and I learned that lesson the hard way. I really, truly did. And my wife knows what I'm talking about. But I learned that lesson the hard way. And, you know,
It's just how to learn to, you know, that it's okay to be a people pleaser, but focus it on the people that are most important, like your wife and child.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And I really do my best in trying to do that. It's
But we're not perfect, right? We're not
no,
perfect.
we're
And you're
definitely not
learning,
perfect.
and you're learning and trying, right? And you're
Yeah,
putting in the work, because relationships take work, whether it's your friend, your neighbor, your lover, your parents. It takes work. And if we don't put in the work, they'll fall apart,
yeah,
right?
it really does. Yeah, it really does. I was just gonna say something. That's why my affect went flat. Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, you guys can't see my little flower. Remember, this was on my old microphone. Hazley made it out of little fuzzy things that are wire. What do they call those
Nice.
again?
Pipe cleaners?
Yeah, pipe cleaners. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, as a kid, we used pipe cleaners for, making arts and crafts. And then, like,
Yeah.
in my 20s, I'm in the local head shop, and I'm like, oh, you got pipe cleaners in here? You sell crafting supplies? And he goes, no, man, we use them to clean our pipes. And I was like, oh, dang. Man, I'm telling you, I felt so dumb. You know, like, oh, I
Yeah,
didn't even know pipe cleaners are used for cleaning pipes.
that's right.
Just,
Yeah, that's
just a bit insane.
also just one other thing too. Reese had said that that I put all the blame of the cop video on Tommy, and that's not what I said. And I hope no one misunderstood when no one did. I said I made that video. I
Yeah.
never said that Tommy made me do it or anything like that, but I was new doing this, and he suggested we create this video, but give like real information, right?
Yeah.
And about the thing, because it was a slow news cycle. I never said that I had no part of it, but it definitely was not my idea. I had no idea that was a thing to do on YouTube.
No, exactly.
But I don't want to play naive or ignorant or to the situation. I agreed to do it.
It sounded like a good idea at the time, and it was a cool video, and people, all it needed was one of those little spanners on the bottom of the screen saying this is for entertainment purposes only.
Well, no, exactly. It's like, yeah, we're providing this information.
Yeah.
This way because it'll be more entertaining, right? If we'd have done that, it would have been perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But our hindsight is always going to be 2020.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody's perfect, man. And legit people on YouTube need clicks, they need watch time in order to make money. And
Yeah, that's another thing.
I don't think that it's that horrible of a thing that in a YouTuber's early stages of live streaming and content creating made a fake video and didn't really use truth and transparency about the fact that it was
Right.
based
And
on
I think,
reality. How many people
you know what?
watched Duck Dynasty and thought that that was real when they said, no, it's a scripted show based on reality?
Right. Exactly. But here's the thing also, like almost everyone in the community forgave me for that. And, there was a few people that were like, no, I can't. But like, but I always wanted to tell them, I'm like, that did not hurt anybody. But if it did, and if I'm being naive to that, if it did affect someone in an adverse way, then wow, I am truly sorry for that, but I just don't see a path how it did. Now accidentally putting those names in the video the other day, I am so effing sorry for that. And I don't want to come off glib or flippant about it.
Yeah.
But that's why I said, please send me emails to tell me how I can correct it, help support you. If I said it during the thing or after in my next one, and it wasn't to, no, I think I said it in that show.
Yeah,
not
pretty
the
sure
second.
one
No,
of the people that
I said it in the show. I said, please let me know. Yeah, because I already said, look, I'll edit out the names anyway. I don't want to bring them more.
I'm pretty sure that some of the people were in the
But
live chat when it was on, and they were forgiving you in the live stream in the chat.
Yeah, I
saying,
didn't see any of
"Okay,
that.
Sam, we understand." No, but as a mod, I saw, there's
Yeah.
people saying, "It's okay, Sam. I understand. I forgive you." And
Yeah.
my brain just assumed that was one of the people on the screen. So
Yeah. But yeah, and I so appreciate that, man. That is so badass. But that was never ever done on purpose, man. I worked so dude.
Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah, no, for it to be doxing, you would have had to intentionally gone out there with intent of malicious action and said, these are the people's names, this is where they're from, giving addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, or birth given names. And you didn't give any people's birth given names. You didn't give out towns they lived in or email addresses or phone numbers. You didn't dox anyone. Some screen names and stuff did get up on screen, and you've apologized for that, brother, to the best of your ability. And the community is going to move forward.
Right. And I just want to say one last thing about it. This is what I wanted to say about it is that there's no way I did that thing for clicks. When people say that, when people used to say that, like, oh, that person's doing that for clicks. I was like, that's impossible. Why would he even be doing YouTube? You want views, right?
Yeah.
With and to like be paid for the views. And that is not the reason why I put that out. Like I even said, like, I'm not monetizing this video.
Yeah.
But I was talked into monetizing it later, but it was well after it had done its, thing.
Yeah.
So I will get something on the back end, but 40 cents, whatever, how, if it's only, anyways, I'm getting into the weeds on that.
You demonetized the live stream, but you allowed the replay to be monetized. If it gets enough viewers and enough watch hours.
Right. And the reason, and then I explained why I'm turning the super chats back on, and that's why I don't think Reese ever watches my stuff. She just gets like, her
snippets.
Her community like sends her things or whatever happens, because the misinformation she did about what was I just gonna say? It wasn't the monetization part, and then it said that I doxed on purpose. It wasn't that. Man, I can't remember what I was gonna say about that. Lost me train of thought.
And that's all.
It's because I'm thinking about three things at the same time. But yeah, crazy past couple of days.
No
But I
doubt.
really appreciate you talking with me about this.
Yeah, brother.
It's really
Anytime,
helped.
you know it.
Yep, it's really helped.
And guys, whoever is watching, on the
Oh,
6th, on Tuesday, the 6th of May.
Oh yeah. Let's promote that.
Yeah, Tuesday, the 6th of May, I will be on another episode of Synchronized Souls When Two Worlds Collide. And we have an amazing, amazing, fantastic guest that day. The one and only Sam Yarbrough is going to be on the stream with us as we talk about
Thanks.
addiction and recovery and how it affects ourselves and our loved ones and the people around us and how we need
Yep.
support to move forward. It's going to be a
Yeah.
fantastic stream. And
And it's my
I think
birthday.
we'll have it running on Sam's channel here as well as on Synchronized Souls so that it could be a collab.
Yeah. Yep. And it's on my birthday, and it's gonna be cool to spend my birthday with you guys over there. I love going on other people's channels. I there's like a little bit of freedom that you feel because you're not like putting the show on. And I always when the show ends, I always feel like, man, I killed that.
Yeah,
Man,
me
it was
too, bro.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. It does.
I
It
need
feels
water.
really good. It helps feed the positive ego in ourselves. When we don't believe in ourselves, a lot of the time we have a hard time taking compliments. But yeah, when I'm a guest on somebody else's stream and I know that it went well and that we didn't have too many mess ups or whatnot, I feel good about myself, and I'm like, man, good job, bro. And
Yeah.
I don't do that enough. I don't give myself enough credit, and I don't know why it's so hard to take compliments. As I know, it's hard to take
Yeah,
compliments,
it's super hard.
right?
My wife wanted to give you a compliment. She came in earlier and I just now remembered. She loves your ships. She wanted me to tell you that.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah.
Loves them.
This
Your
one is
dad.
based on an actual ship, the Gorka Fock. It was a German military ship that got decommissioned, I think, in the 50s or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I love it. I love
I need to get a
seafaring
water.
stuff, Vikings,
Yeah.
pirates, just that whole thing of, we survive off the ocean and little islands
Yeah.
and we live free, even though it was a harsh life and that
Mhm.
these were not people that we should be looking up to,
Yeah.
oh, these pirates were awesome. No, they were known for the pillaging and the graping and war and,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
but
look at what the pirates do now. I mean, those guys down there are nuts, man.
yeah, going out in the ocean with a Zodiac and a rocket launcher, taking over oil tankers.
Yeah.
Those guys are
What the
crazy.
heck? Crazy. And they get paid for it though, man. And,
Yeah.
and because of that, they'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
But I think the ships stay pretty far from that. You know what I mean? From that situation. I'm just trying to read the comments because I know there's some people I do need to have discussions with, not on the live,
Awesome.
but I'm trying to be.
And for anybody that sees that I'm drinking what looks like a beer, these are de-alcoholized beers. And they have been my savior because when I open this can and I take that first sip, my brain doesn't know it doesn't have alcohol. My brain just
Mhm.
goes, awesome, we're having beer. So
Yeah.
it helped me maintain my sobriety because I'm no longer being poisoned by the alcohol and the effects of the alcohol. Like my body's not being poisoned, as well as my friendships and my relationships with my friends and loved ones is no longer being poisoned and full of toxicity on my end because of the alcohol. But my brain still goes, yay me, I'm having beer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So as we're leading forward into more recovery and getting clean and not using our drug of choice, we have to find something else for our brain to say good for me, to
Yeah.
replace that. Some
Yeah,
people
yeah,
can
that's
use-
dope.
Some people can use push-ups. Some people use petting their dog or giving their cat a hug or whatnot.
Yeah.
But if we can find something to give us those little hits of dopamine to say, yay, me, our chances of success in our recovery increase, I'd like to say tenfold, but I'm no mathematician. I
Yeah.
know I don't actually know stats and logistics of it all. So I'll just make the numbers up as I go along. But be honest with, I'm making these numbers up completely. You know,
Yeah.
like,
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I do that sometimes. I know Brett does that all the time. Like his statistics, like he does it all the time.
yeah.
It's funny.
And there's
But
like people that are really good at numbers and statistics
oh
or
man, yeah.
computering. And they'll
When
just be like, as they came up with that thought of, the blah, 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 they're over here typing and we don't even know. And they look away for 2 seconds, looks like they're looking at the dog. And they're like, 42% chance of success if you choose to switch to decaffeinated coffee. And you're like, man, how did you know that? Like,
no, that's what Brett does. I mean, he's told me, and I mean, I have it's not here today, but I will have on my iPad like notes that, or statistics, from Chat GPT. When I'm doing certain topics, I'll do that. But that's not a bad thing to do. At least you're
no,
giving
no, that's
the right
great.
numbers, and yeah.
Yeah, that's a fantastic skill that some people have, right?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. You know who does it really good is Oompaville. Have you ever watched Oompaville?
Something tells me I have. Does he do like comedy kind of stuff?
He's getting more into the comedy. Like he's doing like a late night with David Letterman skit now every day or every other day or 3 times a week or something like that.
Right.
I guess that would be every other day. And they're really funny, man. They're really funny. But before that, he would just report on other content creators, and not like how it happens like in this community, but like does like these exposés on content creators that have fallen, not like anything that he was involved with.
Okay, right. Or like the rise and fall of PewDiePie kind of stuff.
Exactly. He does like that kind of stuff. But he started as just a gamer, a weirdo gamer, when he was 15, and
Yeah.
now he's got this candy empire. He's got this big compound in Texas, and I don't say that with a coveting intention, but just like he's just killing it for himself, you know what I mean?
Nice.
Doing really like really good. And he just married like this other creator that's really cool, huh?
He's just making wise decisions.
Yeah. What's crazy is my wife was like, "Oh, I found this creator that would be perfect for Oompaville. Would be like a good couple." And she showed me who it was, and it was his wife.
No way. That's
Yeah, she didn't know that. Yeah, she didn't know that. Isn't that
so
crazy?
Good.
Yeah, it's so funny, man.
So good.
I don't know if there's anything from the chat that we need to talk about, or if there's any. It looks like they're having some pretty intense conversations over there.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know how to see the chat. I think if I get chat here, I can see it, but I'm not sure. Like, because I've tried to do that before, and then when I try to go back to the camera, I end up leaving the stream. So I just find it best to not touch anything once I'm in the studio.
Yeah. I just real quick, I awakened, and I have no idea what in context is happening in the conversation, but I loved what she just said here. The 7, thank you for that. Gonna sound cliche, but being a Christian doesn't make me better than others. It makes me a better version of me than before. That's
nice.
I mean, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I remember not wanting to say I was a Christian when I first started doing the lives. Because I am loud and proud about that in my life. But a lot of people do use that to stand on a point or an issue. So I just, eventually I just said, yeah, I love God and Jesus died for my sins. But definitely not in like I feel like you turn more people off than on, which is, I'm okay with that, but I definitely want to reveal God's character in all the shows I do, even if I'm talking about the young man that unalived the guy down in Texas. I always hope that I'm revealing God's character with my words and my actions.
That
on
is
this
it's
crazy
such
mayhem
a
show.
heartbreaking case.
What's that?
The heartbreak. It's such a heartbreaking case. The track student.
Yeah, lots
Yeah.
coming out of it, but I'm glad, and I might be wrong because I remember coming out saying, "Oh, this is going to be a big one about the racial divide,"
Yeah.
because there is so much race baiting. But I think they did just fire I don't want to say that for sure, but I'm hoping, I guess, and I think I heard that they just fired that guy who was like their spokesperson that was in they he was like a criminal that beat up a baby, gave the
Yeah.
baby
Yeah.
brain damage. Um, I think they let him go of being their spokesperson.
I've
So
seen
good on the
several
parents.
content creators that are gladly out there saying, guys, this isn't a black and white issue. This is a child killed a child issue in a high school
Yeah.
with a knife.
Yep.
And I'm
Yep.
liking that because I'm seeing people from all walks of life trying to end this race baiting thing about it. That guys, come
Yeah.
on, this isn't about a black student killed a white student, and this is about a student killed a student. There was
Yep.
a knife. There was a knife brought to a track meet at a
Yeah.
school. Why would a person bring a knife of any size to a track meet?
Yeah.
It
A
isn't an
track meet
animal
that
skinning competition.
a track meet that he wasn't even supposed to be at. He skipped school to go to that track meet. He wasn't running in it or whatever track event he was.
Right.
He wasn't involved in any of it.
Yeah.
And the young man that was stabbed, he was working the track meet, and that was their tent for the students. So he was like working the meet, as support for the team, and that's why he asked to do. He's like, "Hey, this is the team tent. You can't be in here." And then of course he's like, "Man, I'll be wherever I want, cuz."
Yeah, it's just tragic. There's a
Yeah.
group of young YouTube creators, the Cartier family, they call themselves. And
Oh my God. I just
Right?
found them.
Man, I've been following them for like 3 years, man. And
Dude,
they do music
are
reviews.
amazing, dude.
Such
Amazing.
well-spoken young men, well-educated, and they were track
Yeah.
stars. So I haven't watched them all yet, but their views on what's going on, they're so hurt by this as track athletes and young men.
Yeah.
They're just fantastic. I suggest anybody go and check them out.
Yeah, man. The Cartier family.
Yeah.
And the way they do the content where they all just like, sit there and like, it seems like they're sitting. I think probably like on bar stools or something. It's just what an original way to react to news stories, and where they just like banter with each other, and you feel like you're there with them,
Big time. If you check out some of their earlier stuff when they're
I will.
hearing music for the first time, like the first time hearing Pink Floyd, or the first time hearing this song and that song, and they react and they're like, "Oh, we got to hear that again," and they'll rewind it because they're just so pumped. Yeah, I enjoy that stuff because that's their lighthearted stuff, right? As well as they cover really serious topics like politics and this tragic event. They're well-rounded young dudes, man. I like them a lot.
Yeah, super cool. Super cool. Awakened sent me a note. She said, at After the Bar, Sam, I might have come down harsh in that situation as well. I apologize for my part, Sam. It is a difficult situation that has been over 2 years volatile for many of us. Yeah, and see, that's and thank you so much. And that's the reason why I shouldn't even been involved in it. When she asked me for that support, but I didn't know that, but sometimes ignorance isn't a good enough excuse, because it was such a big thing, and I'm just like, well, I feel like I just treated it flippantly, and I regret doing that, and just even inserting myself into that situation. Well, I mean, I didn't insert myself, but I agreed to it.
You got baited, bro.
I did, man.
You did, and I think that, and I can say that to you as your homeboy that loves you, man. That's why I think you're feeling some of this shame and guilt, because you're not a stupid guy, and your brain's going, "How did I fall for this?"
Mm-hmm.
How did I fall for this? But Sam,
Yeah,
you thought you were talking to a victim, which again, I'll say Reese has definitely been a
I
victim
did,
of
dude.
things,
I did not know her. Yeah. Yep,
right? As
I
well as
did.
like these people that have all been victimized by those other people. We didn't know, you didn't know. You
Yeah.
just were hearing one story that was very believable, that tugged on your heartstrings,
Hmm.
and it allowed you to be manipulated, and that bothers you, and it would bother any of us. And if
Yeah.
somebody thinks that, oh well, I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have got tricked, you
Well, I
weren't
mean,
there. You weren't
yeah,
there. You don't know if you
yeah,
would have got tricked. I don't know if I would have gotten tricked. I mean, when you're a good-hearted human being, you want to believe the best in people. And when they say
yeah,
they're going through this horrible thing, you want to support them and you want to do the right thing. And you know what? We can't always do the right thing, especially if
yeah.
we don't have the right information.
And she did it beautifully by starting out with like, you support this guy that hates you.
Yeah,
This guy that is doing this to me is also like behind the scenes doing it to you. Look, listen to what and I was already like just dumbfounded on the whole week because he wasn't at the show. He'd show up and not leave, and then something was going on in his life. And
yeah,
yeah. And I was just worried about like, man, are we gonna do this? We not doing this,
yeah,
Um and there was other thing, oh, and then during that week after she first, sent that to me, during that week, because now I have this information, I'm trying to figure out. I sent Marilyn Honig an email because I thought that when this would come out that Marilyn and Reese could reconnect and I could fix that. And that was my intention of sending her that email. I was like, look, something's going to happen this weekend. And I think you're going to be able to repair this with
yeah.
Reese. And I didn't say that in email, I don't think, but that was the intention. Just weird. I just didn't know I didn't know the history, this big, huge, it's just nuts, dude.
It
It's
is.
just
It is. It's
nuts.
so.
Man. If I told
It's a
this
rabbit hole.
story,
It's a
yeah,
rabbit hole that goes deep, and it's not just one tunnel.
yeah. And I don't want to be a victim in it. You know what I mean? And I know you didn't mean that like, poor you. And that's not, but I definitely was on the receiving end of some heavy manipulation.
Yeah,
That's for
yeah.
sure.
As
That's
for
for sure.
so many, bro, so
But
many people.
but
We've
here's the
seen it.
deal, dude.
We've seen
But
it in
here's
the
the
live
deal.
chat. The people that are still hurting by this, truth
Yes, dude.
seekers that are like, I don't know what's going on. This is the first I've heard of it, and they're like, thank you for bringing this to the light. And
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it's a
Um,
really crappy situation that a lot of people got wound up in this horrible thing.
yeah,
There's healing that needs to be done, and I don't I,
yeah,
I don't have the answers for anybody. I really don't.
yeah. But now I do understand. I do understand her grift now. Like she is a liar. I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything she says is real, and I didn't think that before. I mean, before yesterday, I've even said it. Like I really don't get the whole, Reese thing, but I mean, I get like the sad fish and grift stuff. I get that. But like just like the visceral type of hate towards her.
Yeah.
And I don't hate her. But all that now I totally get it. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Man, and I don't want to blame Scientology for that.
But it'd be fun though.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I just don't want to give her an
It's your
out for that. But,
cultists and the Scientologists and
yeah, yeah. But I don't want to give her that out though to be able to blame it on something that.
no.
But I mean,
But
that is who
explain
like
part of it.
formed her mind though. So maybe it is Scientology's fault.
Right. Well, we're all products of our environment
but
until we
saying
get
like,
acclimatized to our new environment.
but and she like said like, oh, you guys would never make it in Scientology. She still praises Scientology.
Right.
I can tell you this, dude. I would have if I ever chose to be a Scientologist, I would have been her boss, her overlord. For real, dude. Like, dude,
Yeah,
if I can go from being a systems engineer to a prison shot caller, I think I would do okay in the ruthless world of Scientology.
I like to say
Jeez.
if someone said that to me, I'd be like, oh darn, I'm too smart to get brainwashed by a cult.
Well, I mean, that's what it is. The smart people don't go into
Yeah.
Scientology.
But like it used
They
to,
just
like I
don't.
think she said she was born into it. Like her parents
Right.
were Scientologists. So I mean, yeah, right. That's got to be some wild stuff going on in there. I don't know too much
Yeah.
about Scientology. I just hear that it's a cult, and
Well, I told that story. I told that story that when Scientology was just like really like becoming a thing. I mean, it's been a thing for a long time, but when it was really getting popular in Hollywood, I lived in Hollywood at that time, and they had
right,
like all their minions out on the streets trying to bring people into the building. They
Yeah.
would be on Hollywood Boulevard, and me and all my friends, we were trying to vote on one of us actually going in and becoming one, and they voted
right.
on me doing it. They were like, no, Sam's got to be the one to go do it, because I'm like this, like, hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, yeah.
And I just had a really big personality, and they voted on me to do it, and I went and did the can thing. I even can't remember what it's called, but and I got all that, like the literature, and took it back. And I was like, dude, I don't want to go in here.
Yeah.
This place is nuts, dude. It's nuts.
Oh, the Timu, as Brett called it, the Timu
The
lie
can-
detector test.
Yeah, that. And it did. It seemed really like a generic circuit board thing that had lights on it. And
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? And a meter or something. I think that's what they call it, the meter.
Yeah, a bit of wildness there for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, it's so funny. My friends all voted me to go on it. And then to like fast forward 50 years later, being told by an ex-Scientologist that's a whack job that I would never make it in there. Like, what the hell? What is going on with my world right now?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in the bizarro world, like the exact opposite universe of what my world is supposed to be.
That's
Not in
funny.
this
I
situation.
just saw the
but
clip
like,
of the Bizarro Jerry world. I was watching Seinfeld clips.
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Now, I'm glad you got the reference.
Yeah. The Bizarro Kramer and
Yeah.
just calm and
Isn't that a great
everybody.
episode?
So classic, man. So classic.
Oh, that's cool. Be Happy Sis is in West Hollywood. I love me some West Hollywood. That is cool. Yeah, it's so different now. I will pray for her, man, that she's okay. I'm sure she's okay. She's not saying but it's such a different place than it was in the 80s and 70s, and even like the early to mid 90s. It was just so much fun there. I mean, lots of sin. As a Christian, I wouldn't live there. But I mean, I would live there, but I'd be a different person. I wouldn't be the party animal, rock and roll guy.
So here's a Hollywood question for you, Sam. In
Surely.
every movie that takes place in Hollywood, you always see the homeless guy holding the cardboard sign that said "God is love" or
Yeah.
"Jesus saves." Is there as many of those as the movies would have us believe? Like in downtown Ottawa, there's one man, and he generally every day holds a different sign that has some scripture and talks about God. And I'm pretty sure in every city there is. But is there as many in Hollywood as TV leads us to believe?
No.
No.
Okay. No, not. Occasionally there'll be a guy. I have some real photos that I've taken of some homeless guys like on the boulevards, like Sunset Boulevard, Hollywood Boulevard. Yeah, it's a trip. Yeah, I want to address something that Karma said, and I Karma Chameleon, and we love you, Karma. And I'm getting so confused. Everyone was calling everyone the bad guys. I'm really trying to give grace and hoping we can all get off this ride. It's breaking my heart to see all the craziness.
Yeah, Karma.
I don't like making statements that are like final. but because I just said after I responded to the playing of the video of the recording, which it sounds dirty even saying it anymore, and I hate it. Is that today is it? I incorporated the show just because of how I was feeling last night and this morning, and I'd already had this show planned. I talked about it like earlier in the week, and I was glad to be able to do it that way because I didn't want it to be a tit for tat, and I might even have said even too much about it, but things about it keep coming up that I was hurt by and that I got angry with, and I wanted to react so differently, but it's getting old and it's getting now it's becoming self-indulgent. So anytime like I speak about it or they speak about it, now everyone's just self-indulging their own ego to be the last to speak, and it's silly, it's gross, and I want no part of it anymore. So I pledge to like this community that even if they come out with a week of Batarang videos, I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to respond. And I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
I
Good
will
stuff.
not respond.
No.
Nope. It's done. I'm done with it. I don't want to, I want none of it. I want to go back to doing these shows, recovery shows, and
So community, let's try and not message Sam. Hey, this guy said this or this girl said this. Let's not email him. Reese is saying this. Tommy's saying that. Let's leave them to make their content, and let's leave Sam to make his, because Sam makes wonderful, fantastic content about upcoming news and true crime and sobriety and recovery with a mix of politics and religion. It's a wonderful thing that he's trying to build for all of us here. So
maybe I'll put that as a rule in the chat. But I get it. Some people care about me and want to say those things, and let me know. It always comes from a place of love and caring. No one's ever said, look, what, can you explain this? It's always here. They're saying this. Do not respond. That's what everyone emailed me that last night and this morning. And I hope this doesn't come off as like a response. I'm really just trying to explain it like, this is how I was feeling about it. And so anyways, so that's what's great about my community. They're telling me like, don't watch it. I think Beta says like, don't even watch it, but it was too late. I'd already watched it. My voice and my mouth is like really dry right now.
Get a beverage, brother.
Medication.
Get a beverage. I got non-alcoholic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going to go get one. I thought my wife would bring me one.
Woods sparkling water, one of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah.
There's something right too, shame and guilt. You know what? I used to be ashamed that I like sparkling water. And if I was out with friends, I would get flat water just so they wouldn't make fun of me. Like, how silly is that? Like, I won't drink my beverage of choice because my homeboy will make fun of me. Like, oh, there's James again drinking his sparkling water.
Yeah. And it comes from love. Like, like those are your bros, you know what I mean? But still, I'll be right back.
Yeah, for sure. So while Sam's getting a beverage, I'd just like to thank every one of you guys for joining Sam when you can. And those of you that catch the replay and you leave the thumbs up and you comment after the show and you're sharing it with at least one other person. I'd like to thank you for working so hard on yourselves to be better people and not live in a life of anger and frustration and hate. Working closer towards kindness, compassion, understanding, and love, because truly it helps not just ourselves, it helps the people around us. There's enough difficulty and frustration in the world, right? We see it, and the news bombards us with it, whether it be on social media or the newspapers or on the mainstream media channels talking about war and destruction and famine. It's hard not to get wound up in those things. And I really just hope that each of you can find something today to be extremely happy about and share it with another person that you saw this amazing, beautiful thing, or you partook in a great day or a great experience, and just keep trying to move forward in the direction of love. And be kinder to yourself isn't being selfish. To do self-care, like taking 20 minutes to read a book or have a bath or listen to your favorite music or to just meditate or do yoga, sit in silence, jump rope, dance, sing, do things that make you happier and make the people around you happier. We have that option. We have that option. We don't have to suffer every day. There's going to be suffering. We can't avoid it, but we can choose how we deal with it. Yeah, I hope that helps. I don't know what else to say on that. So
I'm here. I was transferring some money to my wife's account.
no worries, brother. I was just trying to fill the time with no dead airspace. And
No, you were killing it. Thank you so much.
just trying to be the best version of myself today.
Dude, when we did that 8-hour thing with Nicole and you, and we had a couple other people come on, like you killed it on filling the dead air.
Thanks,
Like,
bro.
it was awesome. Yeah, it was so awesome.
Like I say, I'm trying my best every day to be the best version of myself. And the last few weeks, I haven't been the best version of myself. But you know what? I was still being a better version of the person I used to be. So I was trying to, I'm trying to not feel guilty about the fact that I haven't been living up to my end of the bargain that I have with myself of work hard every day on things that need to be done around the farm. And I kind of let that slide, but winter was tough for me. But spring is on its way, and I'm very enthusiastic about this gardening season and growing all kinds of amazing food for my friends and family in the food bank. It really fills my heart with joy. So Sam's muted.
Have I been muted this whole time?
No, just about 40 seconds, bro.
Okay, I can't find the water I just brought in here. Hold on. Dead air.
Dead air. Dead air. Dead air. Dead air. Dead air. Dead air. Dead air. So, do you guys love music? What's your favorite kind of music? Do you like soft listening music, or do you like heavy metal music? What's your thing? Let us know in the chat. What's
Heavy
your favorite kind of
metal.
movies? Do you like comedies? Do you like drama? Do you like action? I can't do the action movie anymore. I've got an actor friend, Robert Lasardo. He was in Death Race, and he's been in a lot of movies. He usually plays a gangster, a cholo. He's got all kinds of tattoos. And him and I were having breakfast one time after a tattoo convention. And he had said to me, we were talking about action movies, and I was like, man, I can't do them anymore. It just seems like it's action movie, this much car chase, this much explosions, this much sex scene, no dialogue. And he's like, bro, you've got the algorithm. You should write a Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
You go into the meeting. So what's your movie about? Man, it's going to be a great movie. It's about a guy and a girl. It's got 4 or 5 car chases, 11 explosions, 3 sex scenes, some partial nudity. And they're like, we're going to have to make that film.
Yeah. Here you go, babe. Oh, that one's crazy. We got new ones.
Oh, man, look at her with a popsicle.
What are you doing? Don't do that. Don't do that. It's a weird, like icy, weird one.
Nice.
Oh, I'm almost done, baby.
Can I sit here?
You can sit in your chair.
Yay.
Okay. I got her a cool chair for in here. So when she likes, she goes, can I be your co-pilot today? And if it's serious topics, I'm like, no, not today. But I think we're over all of the seriousness. So
big time. It's always good to bring into the light at the end of, what do you call it? The palate cleansers?
The palate cleansers. That's right.
Right.
I want to like get really good at the palate cleansers because me and my therapist do that. We will we don't call it palate cleanser, but especially if we're doing EMDR, I do that for trauma. It's like just like prison stuff, right? And at the end, we'll like sit quietly and well, if I'm anxious or if we like really did a lot of work, we'll put it in a safe place. And so my mental safe place is my toolbox at my tattoo shop. Right. So I put it in the top drawer of my tattoo shop toolbox. And it's funny, whenever I open that drawer to get something, I always like see it like metaphorically in there, until my next therapy session. And yeah, so it's kind of like a palate cleanser, just like okay, that was a lot. Now let's put it away until next time, because if you walk around with that all week, you're definitely going to be shooting heroin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
it's like I had said to you last night, and I've said to some of my other friends, that if they've had a really stressful day and they want to call me on their ride home from work to talk about everything that bothered them throughout the day so that they don't bring it home to their family, then I'm more than glad to do that. Because I have people in my life that have been there for me that are like, man, this shit's stressing you out. You can't bring that chef garbage home to your house. About how the owner of the restaurant was being a dick because you messed up 4 food orders today and blah, 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 blah. You bring that home and you start contaminating your home life. And then you start bringing your home life to work, and then you're contaminating your work life. So like, leave work at work, leave home at home. Don't combine the two to the best of our abilities. It sets us up for a better chance of success.
Yep, it does.
Right? So I encourage any of you that are out there watching right now, if you've got a homeboy or a homegirl that doesn't mind you venting your daily frustrations about work or lack of work or whatever you're going through, so that you're not trying to burden your life partner and your family with it, accept that offer from them. And if you don't have one, ask them. If like, hey man, my family life ain't doing so good right now. Would it be possible if I vented you all the bullshit that I normally vent to my family member so that they're not being burdened by it? And I next to guarantee you that you have somebody out there that cares enough that will say, hey man, sure, bitch to me all you want about your day, because it wasn't my day and it's not going to ruin my day. It's going to make my day better knowing that I can support you, that you trusted in me enough and believed in me enough as your friend and loved one, that I can help support you in a way to make your family life better. Man, we can do this, guys, in the world. We can change today one little bit to make our life better and our loved ones' lives better. We really, really can, if we take the time to listen to our friends and loved ones when they're speaking with us.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Someone has a comment for you, James.
Really? Awesome.
Awakened says, James, can I make a suggestion? I wish we would have done years ago, though. We need to focus on peer support more. I lost my muchness by trying to be that for everyone else. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that just kind of relates to what I just said, right?
Yep.
Supporting our friends and loved ones in a way that we can. Awaken, thank you so much for your comment.
I love this show.
Always so kind in the chat, and we're blessed to have you in the community. We truly are. Everyone.
Yeah. Even when she was mad at me, she did it with like kindness, and I was feeling bad, and it's hard, but her and I are going to have a conversation. Crush It says, I'm a new substance abuse counselor. Awesome, brother. Awesome. That's a lot of work to get licensed, and I'm learning how to set healthy boundaries and compartmentalize. So let me just tell a quick little story. So, and I've talked about when I got my CAC license in Los Angeles. So you go to, it was an extension class out of UCLA, which was in West Hollywood. And, I was I don't know, 2.5, 3 years almost. An addictions counselor. It's a certified alcoholics, but you do eating disorders, bulimia nervosa, anorexia nervosa, and I did not know how to do that. And if I would have, I'd probably still be a counselor today. But even the psych nurses at the hospital, they used to tell me that I was so codependent with like my kids. I was in a teen adolescent unit that I was the program manager for. It was dual diagnosis. This is when the DSM-3R was out. So I think it's at the 5 now, right? So it was dual diagnosis, and I didn't set healthy boundaries with those kids. And I felt like I could just lay my hands on those kids and they would be better. And whenever they would come back for another 30-day stint, I I would feel like a failure. And because I thought they were okay. I thought I sent them on their way okay. And I never learned how to do that. Well, I left the field before I could do that. And but I loved it, and I wish I would have I was better at it, but I just took everyone's shit and held on to it. I had no boundaries whatsoever. And so then I went to work with adults, and just I thought it would be better with them. It was in the same hospital. I worked for the same. It was at Coldwater Canyon, and it was a little bit better, but I did get a little wild when I was doing that one. I was working with the adults. But I should do a whole show on my stint as a alcoholics counselor. I could tell the stories. Yeah, but I won't. I'll never use the names. But I worked with a client. She was ritualistically abused, and so she had they had diagnosed her with MPD, multiple personality disorder.
Yep.
And I didn't really know what that meant, and I thought she was faking it because they let me sit in as a second during her therapy, and they would talk to the ish. The ish is like the personality that communicates with the real personality and all the different personalities.
Right.
And the ish was talking to the doctor. I don't want to say therapist, but I mean, he was an MD doctor. He was like the medical director. But this was his personal case. He wrote a whole book on this girl.
Wow.
I don't remember what the name of it was. He also wrote another book that I do know. His name's Dr. David Sachs. He actually runs the treatment center in Malibu now. But him and I were really good friends, and I've reached out to him when I got out of prison and told him hey, I just got out of prison. And he was like, what? Yeah. And I told him my whole story of becoming addicted, and he was like, I never would have thought that was your path. I was like, isn't life a trip, Yeah. But anyways, good for you, Krushik. I didn't mean to turn that in about me.
No, I want to use this moment actually to crush it. It sparked something that I like to say in some of the live streams is right this moment. I want to thank the doctors and nurses, healthcare providers, the lifeguards, the ambulance drivers, the crosswalk guards, anyone that is in the human service industry of helping people stay safe and healthy and protecting our children and our loved ones. Thank you. Every one of you. Thank you so much. Galen, I'd like to thank you for what you do with your dogs, because by your dogs doing what they do, they bring closure to families that have lost loved ones. And things like this are irreplaceable and are truly a blessing to mankind for your selfless acts. Every one of you, thank you so much. Thank you.
It is, man.
So
And
much.
those psych nurses that work those hospitals, they are who really help those kids, man. Nursing is a trip, man. They I don't think they get the credit they deserve. They definitely get the pay they deserve now. I think the pay for nurses has really been better. Maybe not in every instance, but at least here in Montana, those nurses are driving Porsches, and they work hard for that. Not that is a meter or or whatever, a benchmark. But they're killing
nurses
it.
are the backbones of the healthcare industry. My mom was a nurse for 27 years, as I brought up in her video I did on April 19th, a memorial video for my mom, because we lost her 6-7 years ago to cancer now. But it was not uncommon, as I even said in my video, it wasn't uncommon for me and my brother to get home from school, and there's one of these giant fruit baskets with jams and jellies and all the fruits and flowers from somebody's family member in the hospital, thanking my mom for going above and beyond her call of duty and her service to make sure that their loved one had extra comfort and extra time. Yeah, nurses, we would often, my mom would bring her nurse friends over for dinner, and we would sit there with these nurses and hearing their stories, and they are the heroes of the healthcare. So yay, nurses.
Yeah. They used to, oh man, they would give me shit too when they'd see me doing like codependent things.
Right.
Because they would be like, dude, like you get here at 4 a.m, you leave at 10 at night. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're not healthy. They would always check me on that.
Yeah.
It'd be a situation like they would find like they do a room search, and this is like a lockdown inpatient unit, and they'd find a bottle of alcohol. You crazy girl. And they'd find like a bottle of alcohol, and I would like get up, get to the hospital. I would wake up all the kids, and we would have a group, you know, and I would have my big book in my hand, and I would throw it across the room, and we would have these that was it's called tribal therapy. That's the way it was back then. So it sounds abusive now if you think about it, but we would sit in a marathon meeting, and I'd make them sit on their hands, and we would process. We would do a process group, and we would process the entire group with anything they had going on. And we would go to eat the meals. We wouldn't talk until we got into the group. They weren't allowed to talk till we were sitting in the circle. I really, really thought I was making a difference then with those kids. But
nice, bro.
Yeah, I wish but that was, you know,
well, we don't know, right? You may have planted seeds in some of those young people that are now living an amazing life because of something you may have said.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I would hope so. But
it's something I remember considering is going to the local high school and speaking to the principal and saying, like, look, man, I want to talk to some of your students. You probably have some troubled students that you know are troubled because of their grades and their attendance and how much detentions they get. But if I could sit down with a group of these kids and tell them a bit of my story and listen to their story, I might save one of those kids from turning out the way I did.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And like, I'm not a public speaker. I don't even have a grade 10 education. I wasn't in school, you know, and I don't really know how to broach the subject, but I know that the gods or my spirit guides, they'll tell me when the time is right to call that high school and say, I need to speak to the principal, please. And then just tell the principal, hey, I'm James Collins. I'm an ex-addict, and I want to try and help some of your students not turn out like I did. I want them to get that grade 12, not quit in grade 9, and then try and get grade 10 3 or 4 times and just keep going and quitting and quitting and quitting. Because being a quitter never helped me in life other than quitting drugs, you know? Yeah. That's the only thing I can say. If you can quit doing drugs and alcohol, that's a good thing for you. But other than that, don't be a quitter, you know?
Yeah. Yep. That's right. That's right. I'm just looking for a few more comments, and then I'm going to address some of the comments and some of the, I got some super chats too. That's awesome.
Nice. Thank you guys so much for your support.
Yeah.
Sam's about to get attacked by a ninja.
I know. I got a ninja behind me. Why did I give her that? Oh, wait. Did the Easter Bunny bring you that? Oh, the Easter Bunny brought you that. I didn't.
Yeah, I'll put you.
Ow.
That's what you wanted.
That's not what I wanted. Get away from here. That's what I wanted.
Elder abuse. Elder abuse.
She takes martial arts, so now she knows how to throw.
That's what I call her, the little ninja.
Hey, don't yell.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now.
Don't, honey. I'm serious.
Don't kick him, please.
If you tell her not to, she's gonna want to do it more.
Yeah, I know. Like, he's old and fragile. You're gonna hurt him.
Yeah.
He is not fragile. He's a dumb dad.
I'm a dumb dad.
That's what he is.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Wolfie, for the gifted memberships. That's awesome. Thank you so much for the support. Beach, thank you so much for the gifted memberships. Be happy. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate you guys so much. Miss Scorpio Rising, thank you so much for the memberships.
So big
those are all super needed. And Shadow Woman, thank you so much for the super sticker.
Dropping the giant super sticker.
I'm dying for a super sticker.
I used to say Shadow Man because I didn't always miss because the W is being used twice.
Yeah, like Tan
Awakened by the
Louise.
Liquid.
I still now I remember to add the S because I typed Tan Louis about 500 times and felt
Yeah,
so
that's
ashamed.
right. Awakened. She says, "Thank you for creating a space where healing can begin." That is one of the greatest compliments I've gotten, for real. I hope that doesn't come off trite. Hey, Mena's here. Sent you an email. I hope you received it. I did receive it, and I do want to do something with you.
Isn't that just one of your good subscribers?
Yeah, she's a good subscriber. She goes, "Is Amanda one of your good subscribers?"
MX.
Don't.
What
Please don't.
currency is MX? Hemina, what country is that? If it's okay for us to ask.
Yeah, it's Mexico, but they probably just put MX for a country designation.
Well, like
What's this? I
whenever
think
they
the
send
symbol
a
for
super chat,
peso
like it
is
would
the
say
dollar sign.
C for Canadian funds. The numbers
Yeah.
in front of the funds is usually from their country or their currency. So cool, Mexico, eh?
Oh yeah, no, Jimena's amazing, man.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
yeah.
I'll be able to do a show with her soon.
Fantastic.
I know I composed the email. I must not have finished it yet. I will do that when we're done and thank you so much for the super chat.
I'm notorious for composing a text message and forgetting to hit send.
Oh, we already did this one. Yeah, dude, I do it all the time, and then my friends don't believe me because I do it so much.
Yeah.
They're like, "Yeah, right, you did."
Easy excuse, Sam.
Oh, yeah.
God, it fell to the ground.
Do you know I'm not accountable for anything. Awake says, "I was never mad at you. It was just an emotional time. You found yourself in the middle. We were building a new kind of family." Did I already address this? Honey, please don't. And dysfunctional, yeah, but willing to work through it and fight, no give up. Thank you. No, you didn't seem mad. Just really concerned for what I was doing, and so I appreciate that so much. Like, I count on you guys for JCC. Such good advice. Just what I was looking for. Thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
man. I'm glad if I can help even one person feel better. It really it makes me feel better.
Yep.
It really does.
Sammy Joseph, I love reggae music.
Yeah.
I do too. I need to turn that down.
You turn it down. I left it down.
Yeah, it's hard not to like some good reggae. You know, high vibing, good energy, about love.
What are you trying to do?
So, Sammy Joe, who's your favorite reggae musician? I'm a big fan of Elephant Man. Obviously, Bob Marley, right? But I think Elephant Man is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Al Barizi, Chuck Fenda. I think those are probably my three favorite reggaes.
Do you want shorts or regular?
Regular.
Lunchbox, come here.
No, I want your show. I was kidding.
Lunchbox, come.
But you have to take it, from the microphone. Sorry, guys. Sammy Joe says, James Collins cares. Are you in Ottawa?
I am. Well, I'm not. I'm about an hour from Ottawa.
Who's that guy or girl?
In the lunchbox.
Who is that?
That's my dog Lunchbox.
Is it him or her?
Her.
Her name's Munchbox?
No, Lunchbox.
Oh, Lunchbox?
Yeah. From like Jay and Silent Bob, you know?
Yeah.
He'd always call Bob Lunchbox when they'd talk one-on-one, but other times he's like, oh, this is my hetero life mate, Silent Bob. But whenever they're together, he's like, yo, Lunchbox. And I was like, oh, I'm going to call my dog that.
Yeah. I was just thinking, Jimena, when we do a show, I'm going to get my pictures from when I lived in Sinaloa. That I just look super different. Look super different. Awake says, James Ned cares too. I absolutely adore you. That's awesome.
Yeah, actually,
I love
for
our
whoever
people.
asked if I was in Ottawa, they might have seen the Pure Love Foundation is still on TikTok, but the YouTube channel has been taken down. And those are videos of me going to Ottawa and doing outreach with the homeless people and the community that I used to be a part of, because I was homeless in Ottawa and an addict there. And about 6 years ago, I was really going through a hard time and I was considering unaliving myself. But I heard my mom in my head say, well, take the rest of the money I left you and help people with it first.
Mhm.
So I went down to Ottawa and bought some pizzas and stuff and went and handed them out around the shelters. And then I asked the homeless people if they would mind if I came back with camera and videoed our interactions so that their stories could be shared. And 99% of them said, yeah, man, do it. We know that you're here to help us. And if you ever made money doing this, then it would come to us. And I have some of that footage in my laptop that my friend's going to help me put up on my channel.
Yeah.
But that'll be in the future.
I when any of my like guys that I sponsor, if they're like feeling suicidal, but you know, it's just ideation. They're not to like the intent part. They haven't made a plan or anything. I always drag them to a meeting and make them be a greeter at the meeting and just put them in service. Like I literally almost forced them to do it. You know, because I always go pick them up right away, and then if we just wait till the next meeting, and then I make them greet. And so many people like just know that's kind of what I do at my meeting. And so people always know to pay extra attention to if it's one of my guys greeting. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. It shows them the extra overwhelming support that they really have by people.
I mean, they get to see every single person that supports them come through that door.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty big meeting too. And it always works. It's never, ever not worked.
Yeah. So fantastic.
I need to do that. I need to go do that. I need to do it with our community here and just like, you know, single everyone out and just be like, hey, how are you doing today? You know, it really does work.
It's hard.
I'm not suicidal, but
I know the community knows that you love all of us, bro.
I hope so.
They do.
I hope so.
They do. Like I say, I know that you're not up to par yet of reading the side chat and keeping up to it while you're streaming. But like myself and Woofy and Nicole and these other mods, when they're there, they see the overwhelming amount of support and understanding that are sent your way.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I that makes me happy. Shell W says silence is a powerful statement. Agreed. And I just wish we could realize that in the heat of the moment, right? Because last night after I watched that, I almost did a live from my truck on my phone.
I wasn't going to say it. I wanted to so badly. I wanted to tell them what you said to me, but you tell them.
Because I told you last night, right? Yeah, and I was just going to be like, she's lying. and James sent me, what did you say in your text? I can't remember what you said. Don't do it or something.
Yeah, like just don't feed into it, man. You know?
Yeah. Like, I just wanted to like be like, none of that is true. Yeah. Dude, I was like, I was in my body about it, you know. But yeah, silence is way more powerful than that. And I mean, I kind of wasn't silenced with this show, but I, you know, I was feeling some guilt about even getting involved. I should have just. But anyways, we've already talked about that.
That's all I have to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that. Thank you so much, Alois, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the great channel. Love to all, man. Whenever someone tells me the channel is great or the community is great, I just, man, it fires me up for the next show. I'm telling you.
See, like in front of her donation, it said ZAR. Like, what country is ZAR?
New Zealand? I mean, I'm only saying that because that's the only one I can think of that has a Z. We do have New Zealand folks with us. Ben Bacon Bits comments. So I so want to interrogate James. You sure You sure you're Canadian? You pronounce the letter O.
Man, I'm telling you, I was born in Ottawa, raised there, but I've traveled, and people ask me all the time, "Where are you from?" And I tell them, and they're like, "Man, I don't believe you." As yes, I am Canadian. I could show you my passport, but I don't know my language. I say I'm from planet Earth, and um,
You do say beauty though.
dude,
Yeah,
Bob
you say beauty,
McKenzie,
and
beauty, eh?
that's beauty, eh?
Yeah, beauty.
I wish we could watch that show and like with everybody.
Oh man,
I mean, I'm sure we could. Yeah. Coo, 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 coo.
Take off,
Oh,
eh?
man.
Get
Hey,
out
it's
of here,
Rosie, eh?
composer.
Beauty, it's Rosie. Um, Wanna Love's question: did you see Marley's Daughter on Outward? I did, but only for a second. I only watched a little bit of it. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
she's been on 2 or 3 times now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How did he arrange that?
No idea how Sean gets some of the people he gets on there, man.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
he knows
That's
so many
amazing.
people, right? His network of people that he knows has just got to be out there. And somebody probably sent him an email that said, like, "Hey, I know so and so," and he's like, "Get me in contact." Like,
Yeah.
yeah, when you have 900,000 subscribers on top of however many hundreds of guests he has had, it's
Yeah.
unparalleled the amount of access you get to other content creators and
Yeah.
people that have never been on the show or been on any show. Like, he got Corey Feldman on the show, for crying out loud. It was a pre-recorded show, but I
Yeah.
mean, how do you pull that off? How do you get the Feldman on? Like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You would have thought I had run into Corey being in, because I've run into so many stars. I never ran into Corey. And
Yeah.
he's like out there, you know what I mean? He's not like a one that just hides in his mansion.
No.
He's out there on the streets, and I never crossed paths with him.
Wow.
Not like I did with Kiefer Sutherland. I couldn't, like, it got to the point to where I was like, "Oh, hey, man," And
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
yeah.
hey,
I knew a woman that
you
actually
doing
went to
okay?"
high school with Kiefer and knew his dad quite well because, well,
Yeah, I
they're
love his
Canadian,
dad. I
right?
love his dad. Boho Hobo, I just want to say that we love you, Boho Hobo.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Like since the transition into After the Bars, and Rhonda has been right there. I never know if I'm allowed to use your name. That one just kind of slipped right now. But thank you so much. We just love you.
Yeah,
KP and AZ says, "Sam, your daughter's adorable,
Boho.
isn't she though?"
Yes. I was teasing Boho Hobo one time because they said they had a car. And I was like, "Oh, you're no hobo. You've got a car."
And thank you so much, Nicole, for moderating today, and Woofy. You guys are amazing moderators. Who else do I have now? Is it just you three?
No, there's also Russ. And hey, can we give prayers out to Russ, guys?
Yes.
He opened up in the side chat yesterday and informed us all he's getting a biopsy today that will hopefully come back that it isn't the dreaded C word. But let's get Russ in all of our hearts and prayers today, guys, and in the future for him to recover quickly, and that it isn't the dreaded C, that it's just something else.
Yeah, because they think it might be pancreatic.
Yeah.
And that would really suck, man.
Well, I think we can live without a pancreas. I think they can take out the pancreas and you can still live.
No, I don't think you can.
Oh no, it's one of those organs we need.
Yeah, it's one of. I'm almost positive. Positive.
Either way, we're gonna pray for him.
We have Sherry LeBron too.
Right,
but Sherry. I think she's away, probably supporting Russ right now.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh God, one of my close friends, like when I went on the run, he like hid me from the U.S. Marshals for a while, and Yeah, just a super close friend, and he had just started a drilling company for the oil industry, and like had his first $10 million year. He went from having a $80,000 year to a $10 million year
Wow.
in profit. Yeah, and he just didn't know what to do with the money. Like he was a heavy drinker, and I was trying to get him sober, and he just loved Budweiser, and in the oil fields, it's a party industry,
Yeah.
um, for the most part, but they work hard, so they play hard. And that first year he had that $10 million year, he found out he had pancreatic cancer. They gave him 9 months to live. He made it 4.
Oh,
And
so
he
sad.
went, yeah, he went down to Mexico, and he did this treatment where they put him in a chamber and they heat your body up to like this crazy heat. First they cleanse you, and then you just eat greens,
Salad.
vegetables.
Yep.
Yeah. And then they put you in this chamber, and it was like for a month, and he paid like 180 grand for it. They pretty much guaranteed him that they would fix him. And it didn't work. And he was just listening to all these new age things, and he had the money to do it now.
Yeah.
So he was like, I don't care if I blow every single penny
Yeah.
on it. And when he passed, and it was all bad, his girlfriend at the time, he left everything to his girlfriend. His girlfriend did something so none of his sons got anything. She wouldn't even give the sons any ashes. We were at the funeral. It was a big scene. I had to like break everybody up down in Wyoming. And it was super nuts, man.
Horrible, man. Horrible.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure his soul is resting in peace now, though.
Oh yeah. Yep. I talked to him a lot about God beforehand, and he believed, but it was hard for him to understand like the covenants and how he died for us, and how it was hard for him to understand that. But he was, he had a lot of other things going on. More grace and peace. I love that handle. Sammy and James, I can't tell you how much your open, honest dialogue has been a blessing for me. I've shouted out praise to God several times listening to you guys. God bless you and keep you both. I assure you those shout outs to God has given us the words to say, because before the show, I don't know what I'm going to say. I have an outline of what I want to talk about, but I don't know where it's going to take me if I can relate enough personally. And so, I can relate my personal experience with like the topic well enough. Do I have the right words to articulate? I'm not scared, but anxious about it. So
yeah, most definitely.
I assure you those praises to God helped give us the right words, and hopefully we're killing it.
Most definitely.
Ghost got Russ says that they're thinking of colon cancer. Oh, was it colon? Too, so I don't wish for either. I hope it's colon. Yes, I hope it's colon too. If it has to be one.
Yeah, because they can remove most of your colon, and you might have an ostomy bag or a colostomy bag or whatnot, but you're still here alive with us, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Juana Love says she's 13 years of miracle. We went too fast. Juana Love says I'm 13 years of miracle at the moment. Still have it, but never quit. Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably the cancer related. 13 years, probably cancer free, or in a sense, but probably in a remission or something.
Yeah, probably.
And if that's the case, we send out even extra prayers to you, Juana Love, and we pray that it will stay in remission for eternity.
Yeah.
That's like you say, Sam. I don't take notes, right? I like everything to come from source. The source will give me the right things to say. Sometimes I'll take a few keyword notes so that you read the word and it will trigger what you want to say about that. But I like to go from the heart, because if you don't have a bunch of notes and you just come from what your heart is, then we can show true authenticity of who we are in this moment.
That's right. Ghost Rider 611 asks, Sam, what video editing program do you use? I use Wondershare, Filmora, and I also use Create Studio Pro. And it's Wondershare is the program. If this is what you're alluding to, Wondershare is the program I use to do the AI editing. It's text-based editing is what it's called. And yeah, that's what I use, and it's never failed me before, but I'm usually only editing out 1 or 2 words. So I just not, I don't know, 60 words. This is the main issue. I should have watched it start to finish to double check. So that's on me not thinking it was that serious. And I didn't think it. I mean, I thought it was serious enough to do it. But I don't know. It's just my fault. And I should have just double checked, triple checked. It was late, and then the day got away from me, and I literally got everything ready and done, and like came in from picking up Paisley, sat down, hit go live, and it was it was horrible. Like when I seen it, it was nuts.
Okay, chat. Let's fire up the chat with Sam. Forgive yourself. It was a simple mistake. We've all made them.
Oh yeah. Yep. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. Or have any of these because I definitely
now they're going to do it anyway. Sam, we forgive you. Sam, we forgive you.
Oh yeah,
Sam, forgive yourself.
Yeah, I don't. And yeah,
I'm just being silly, homie.
No, I know. And you know what I might start doing? This is on another thing, because that company has asked me to do training videos.
Nice.
I mean, they ask a lot of creators. I'm not like anything special, but I got an email them asking me to do videos of how to do certain things, and then the product that leaves it. I do have some really good videos, not on this channel because I don't do a lot of edited videos, but on my other channel, I've done some really, really cool things, experimenting on what my audience might like. And that program does it all. And it's pretty awesome. I just taught myself video editing a year ago now, and I'm already making documentaries, and it's a trip.
That's awesome, man. I had to watch YouTube.
Yeah, let it go. How about that? Yeah.
To edit on my cell phone, and I do all my edits in my cell phone.
Yeah, dude. I did stuff on my iPad forever with the same company, Wondershare, and I love it. But Wondershare has so many awesome programs. Like, it just has so many things. And then the animated things I do that on Studio Create Pro, or it's either Studio Create Pro or Create Studio Pro. It's Create Studio Pro. And that program is super, super amazing. But I mean, I hope I know I missed a bunch of comments and questions that are like way earlier in the show. And I want to go backwards and do them, but if anyone has a question or comment for us, if you could do it now, that would be great. And I'll just do them as they come. Comment. How about for businesses? Oh, you guys are talking about something else, I think. Kim, what do you use daily? Wondershare? Are they talking about something else? Cooking dinner, so listening, but please send my love to James. Synchronized Soul.
Yeah, that's Zoe. Love you, my sister. Yep. She lives in Scotland, and she lives in housing type thing. And for the last 2 days or 3 days, they had her bathroom all tore up, and she was unable to shower. And she legit just sent me a telegram saying, "Oh, my shower's fixed. I can finally shower." So you know what?
Oh, that's kind of
Enjoy your
good.
dinner, Zoe. We love you so much. Thank you for joining us, and enjoy that hot shower. You deserve it.
And I can't wait till May 6th, man. I can't wait.
It's going to be so awesome to have you there. It's a
I would
fantastic community.
Yeah. If I was going to choose a program for making videos to advertise businesses, I would use Studio Create Pro, because they have templates for a starting point, and then you can recreate. That's what I did. I did this intro with Studio Create Pro. Let me find it real quick. I love talking about this stuff, so hopefully we don't change the show too much and end on a bad note, but not that this is a bad note. That one. Yes, babe. I am almost done. Yeah. I'm getting the hook. Let me just show this really quick. I'll start to respond. I did that with Studio, but that's not even a great example. But anyways, they have lots of stuff for businesses. I'm gonna just take a quick. I gotta go, guys. John says I am a tattoo artist called Scratcher. Love it. We're gonna do a tattoo show hopefully soon. They're just asking, are you a tattoo artist? B. Cheen wants to know.
I have done traditional tabori style tattoos.
Yeah.
No machine work myself. I have a particular style, and I'm one of those people that if you want a tattoo from me, you get what I want and where I want to put it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's its own style. I can show quickly. Watch yourself, Lunchy. I did this turtle for my mom, as well as this elephant that is still in the work.
That's super cool.
That's all traditional style taburi. I use legit sets, like rounds and liners, but I just have them taped to chopsticks. And traditional hand poke. Yep.
All right, guys. I'm sorry, I gotta go. Thank you so much. This has been an amazing show. This was the perfect show. I know I needed this show. I know I seen a few comments that it was much needed by others for our community as a whole. And I'm just so glad. Because I really needed it too. I'm going to have a better weekend now, I know, because of this show. And I appreciate you guys so much for everything. And thank you, James, for sharing this with me and helping me get through this.
Most definitely, Sam.
Through the show and through everything. I will be back Monday. And I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I'm sure it's going to be dope. And I'll see you guys all later.
Yeah,
and sorry,
for joining us, everybody. We really appreciate it.
Who was it? Someone just came. Teresa Wild. Hey. All right. Sorry, we got to go. Peace out.
Stay loud. Don't be woke. Stay wild. Stay awake. This was morning mayhem.